back. We're bringing the fun. We're bringing the thunder. We are Funder. Flesh and blood down under. Woo! He's back. The man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Philip Mackay, backed by popular demand. One of our most well-received, if not most well-received guest.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Nick Butcher is technically our best received guest was Brendan Healy. So far.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But for people wanting to see again, it's
Yeah.
you, mate.
Oh, my phone blew up
Thank you.
after the last pod
Thank
going,
you.
get him back.
I mean, this is the thing. When you bring on anyone who can, sort of appeal to more of the female demographic, then it really helps
right.
the viewership.
Whoa.
It's actually, technically, he's the sex appeal of this show.
God.
I thought it was you.
No, it's
and
not
then me, and then Paul.
No,
We-
well,
Right.
You know what a Timmy's
in what
favourite word is?
planet is that true? That doesn't matter what your face looks like when you're 6'6", you're just 6'6".
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You look
Everything's
like a
in proportion.
giraffe, right?
Really?
Yeah.
In the African
Quite a
continents.
handsome giraffe. It's fine.
Well, you should see my high school photos.
Yeah.
Braces, bad acne,
Sure.
lankier than a beanpole.
But that's good because that develops character. That's why you're not an asshole.
Yeah, you
You
sprouted.
know what I mean?
Why, thank you.
Yeah. Because if you were a Calvin Klein model in high school, you'd be an asshole.
Yeah, 100%.
That's
Right,
just-
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that
Now you
psychological
could be.
read.
Now you could be, but you wouldn't because you don't have the self-esteem because of your teenage years.
This is actually
not
true.
true, is it?
Like, it is very true. I overcompensate because I've got low self-confidence.
Yeah, but you shouldn't because you've sprouted. You look good,
Absolutely.
young man.
Yeah. Good
Young
on you,
man.
mate.
Thank you.
Why the fuck
That
are
was
you wearing
awesome.
sunglasses indoors,
What
bro?
are you talking about? It's just to block out the haters, bro.
I see.
Because I'm going to have a few of them after
Oh,
today's
yeah?
poem, I think.
Whoa.
We don't have a
The P
plan for
word.
today.
We don't?
No.
Okay.
I do. I've got some topics
Okay.
that I need to talk to you about.
How should we do this then? Do you want to open with a couple, and then when I feel the time is right, I'll just
Just launch
Okay.
into
bust
poetry.
out some
What
rhymes?
makes a shit flesh and blood coach?
Okay. This is a really easy question to answer.
Name
actually.
names.
No,
I think, well, I'll start off by saying the most important thing when it comes to coaching is tailoring what you're doing to the person that you're teaching. And this is not just true for coaching in flesh and blood. It's true for coaching in pretty much anything, whether it's sport or just being a teacher. I know there are people who listen to the podcast and who play flesh and blood who are teachers, and you understand that not every child is the same. In the same way as when you're teaching flesh and blood, not every man-child is the same. And you need to teach them the things that they need to learn. Now, just spouting a generic program of, you should watch your replays and see when you make, that doesn't mean shit to anyone, right? Because for some people, they respond to that really well. And for other people, they just watch and their brains turn off. So not being able to understand truly what the strengths and weaknesses of the person that you're teaching are is probably the biggest failure. I think beyond that as well, not understanding that you're trying to teach someone, not talk down to them, is a massive point. I've listened and I've gotten feedback from people who've gone to other coaches and then come to me afterwards. And they've said, when I went in, I'm not going to name names because I think that's damaging people's business potentially. But,
I don't know.
It's, yeah. If they've come to me and they've said, when I went to learn from this other person, like the first thing they did was just kind of, tell me how shit I was at the game. And whenever they would, talk or lecture or whatever, it was just kind of this bland, I'm better than you and here's all the things that you should know, rather than here are the things that we're going to learn together, which I think is a much more constructive way of just learning anything, right? Like you just look at any form of lecturing, everyone's been to school, I hope. Many of us have been to university. I think university is a great example of, or college or any sort of tertiary education where you had good lecturers. Everyone remembers who their good lecturers and their good teachers were. And it's sometimes the most knowledgeable, but oftentimes it was the most personable. And I think that's what
It's
really
like
makes
they
a good
got
coach.
me.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that when I was in high school, from up until 7th grade, I was a fucking genius. And then I discovered like sport and women, and I realized that was a much more fruitful pursuit. And then I got into year 11, and my English teacher at the time was just an absolute legend, this guy. He was actually the senior housemaster disciplinarian at my school. And I remember he talked about we were studying Apocalypse Now and Heart of Darkness, and he talked about the Vietnam War with it was so colorful, and it really drew me back into wanting to be interested in these materials. And I try to do that when I'm coaching as well, as I want the people that I'm teaching to actually want to learn. I taught as a maths teacher for 5 years, part-time, and as a tutor. And one of the greatest comments that I ever got from one of the classes that I taught was this one kid, when he graduated, sent me a message, and he said, "I always did my homework in your class because I knew you would be disappointed if I didn't, and I felt like you were my older brother, and I just didn't want to make you disappointed."
I love that.
It was not because he was he was like, "Oh, I'd be disappointed in him as a teacher. Like, oh, fuck you, you're some old guy, right?" He was like, "No, you're like an older brother to me, and I didn't want you to be disappointed. I wanted you to be proud of how well I did." And he wasn't a great student or anything, but he did really well in maths just because he didn't want me to be disappointed. I would never have been disappointed in him anyway, but yeah, I don't know. Long-winded answer. Yeah.
No, because I'm not saying a lot's changed, but a lot's happened for you since you were on the pod last.
Yeah.
You launched your YouTube channel with a very, very excellent, well-crafted video.
Thanks.
Long
And that was
form. Hold on, relax. You top 8'd nationals. You went 6-0 in draft.
Yeah.
You successfully were awarded a PTI, which you graciously gifted to me, but we'll get into that a bit later. And you've launched your Flesh and Blood coaching as well. So it's things are moving.
Yeah. Can I throw something else onto that?
Yeah, you can.
I'm also currently ELO rank number 1 in Australia for limited.
Ooh, here we go.
Yeah, but there's no good players in Australia. I don't know why you're proud.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Damn, nice. I did not know that.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised when I found out.
I'm ranked
So that means you can
20 in
qualify for
CC. It's crazy.
You're what in CC?
20.
In Australia?
Yeah.
Wow. Well done.
Yeah, I can play constructed a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think it means I qualify for Worlds based on that, though.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's not. It's
Which
not
is a little
region-based.
strange,
No, it's just
I
not
think,
region based. Although it should be like top 5 region should get in.
I figured it would have been
right?
something like that because, yes and no.
Because you're limited to your region's events.
No.
Yeah, you're not, but it's hard to get the ELO.
I think part of the reason that my ELO skyrocketed so much is because I went to Singapore and I went to Lille.
Yes.
And over the course of all the drafts that I played there, I think I dropped
1 or 2.
one game.
Trying to remember your record. It wasn't
Yeah.
many.
Yeah, I think I dropped one game in draft.
Did you play fire once?
No, I didn't. Over 6 or 7 drafts, I never drafted Fire. And it wasn't, let's be really clear, it wasn't because I didn't want to draft Fire. It's because given the behavior of the pods that I was in, it was the correct choice to not take
Yeah, I
Fire.
believe it.
I
don't think Fire's
100%
anyway.
if
I think Fire
there's 4
stock's
fires,
slipping.
you should be on Icelander and you have a much better
Right.
chance,
Yeah.
right?
But I do think the Fire stock's slipping fast.
Yeah, I think,
I could tell you why.
I'm shorting on Fire stock.
Because
Yeah.
people keep saying force
Force
fire.
Fire. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like when I posted about it on Twitter, the first response was like, pick the best Fire cards from...
Yeah, but if everyone does that, no one wins.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
The Dromais and Icelanders will dominate.
Yeah. Because this is the thing. Even though with Uprising is a triangular format in the sense that, Fire is favoured into Dromai. Dromai is favoured into Icelander. Icelander is favoured into Fire. If you have a 3 out of 10 Fire deck and someone has a 7 out of 10 Dromai deck, they're still going to fucking crush you.
Oh, yeah.
So
you won't get out of turn 2 if they go Doombreaker.
yeah, if they go do Doombreaker, Embermore or something.
Over.
Yeah. Good luck. Have fun. You just took 25.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah. I beat a couple of fires with Dracona Optimi.
yeah, well, yeah.
You just can't, like, there's some cards on Dromai that are just too strong. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think Dromai has...
Even Vincerikai into fire is amazing.
Vincerikai's great into every matchup. I think that card's insanely strong.
Well, it's maybe I've learned not to put it in against Icelander.
Yeah, I mean...
Because it's just too easy to kill it
if they
from
just pop
Arsenal.
it, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think back to the coaching thing.
Mm.
This is not a jab at you. It's not because I ran it through my head and my fuck he's going to think I'm talking about him. I'm not talking about you. My pet hate with the coaching services in Fab, maybe in other games, but Fab's the one I notice. Well, no, I've had professional League of Legends coaching, but like a world number 1 ranked player. He's the world number 1 Olaf. It's like this double axe
Is it Box
wielding
Boss?
guy. No,
It's not okay. Yeah.
was world number 1.
Okay. Yeah.
Difference is, League of Legends, this guy's a pro. He's a professional coach, gets paid by a company, sponsored, all this stuff. He asks a lot of questions. He listens more than he talks. Most importantly, though, his goal is not, he never said like, oh yeah, I coached 100 players last month and I got 90 of them to diamond. Our coaching, when you see people talk about their coaching services, like, yeah, 4 people used my deck and got, like, first of all, they piloted the deck. Like, yes, you helped to build it. Second, that shouldn't be the goal. Unless it's that player's specific goal to win an armory or a skirmish, that shouldn't be the goal. Because the minute you're going, this guy won a skirmish, it's like, well, we can't all win skirmishes. And I doubt everyone asking for coaching, that's their goal. Like, that sounds like you as the coach, that's your goal, is to see the wins. I'm sure, like, if you ask people what their goal is, it's usually, I just don't want to lose into Lexi.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or
100%.
You know what? Like, my wife keeps beating me. Or, you know what? I go to my armory and I never win a round. And getting their confidence up is probably their actual goal versus... Because if you set win the armory, you're not coaching them correctly. I don't think... If it's not their goal, that's what I'm saying is you should know their goal, and then it's very different.
Yeah, I agree. I think the reason people do that is because it's a really easy metric to put up and say, like, you can put it on your page and say, this is what I've done. So, like, you referred Lachlan to me recently, and we've done 2 coaching sessions since then. And he wants to get a lot better at playing Dorinthia. And...
That's easy. Come talk to me, Lachlan. I won't chat.
Why'd you refer him to me then?
I'm kidding.
Twit. So he wants to get improved with Dorinthia, and initially a lot of what that was just understanding what his cards actually do.
Yeah.
And what his game plan was. He's never expressed to me, I want to win an armory or I want to win. And I've never said to him, I want you to win something or something rather. Now, in our last coaching session, at the end of it, I said, okay, we've been testing against a certain deck. I want to play Chain into you now. Blitz Chain. And I crushed him. I think it was 2 games in a row. But what the point of those games was not for me to flex that I know how to play a Blitz deck that I've played for, a year and a half or something. It's to explain this is a different set of mechanics in Fab. This is the goal of this deck. Look at how this deck is playing.
Now you have to change your game.
Now you need to think differently, right?
You know what your cards do, but why you play? Yeah.
And
that's actually what Fab is.
Exactly.
You can learn your deck, I think, very quickly.
Yeah.
It's then learning to decide correctly against everyone else.
Sure. Yeah. I think a lot of coaches miss that.
I think a lot of pro players right now have no idea what's coming when they got to play 5 rounds of competitive Blitz.
Yeah, I
like that format is not, because if you're teaching people in Blitz, it's actually a sharper, like CC has the complexity of a sideboard.
Yes,
but Blitz
is very sharp.
It's like, hey buddy, you can't fuck up.
Yeah, I mean,
like if you choose the wrong card to block with in one turn, that can cost you the entire game.
Yep.
Like I've thought back through my Blitz games and gone, that one time I saved 1 block on my Brave Forge braces into Rhinar is what killed me. Because I would have been a 3 and not 2. And then I died to a reckless swing. And I've got an armor floating for an on-hit that's never coming. You know how long it takes you to learn that lesson without coaching? It's a long time.
Yeah. I think that's the main thing that you need to get from coaching is the point of coaching is it's like the Magnus Carlsen effect, right? Like I like using chess players because it's one of the oldest competitive games. Why are new chess players so good? Like, why is Magnus Carlsen so good? Part of the reason Magnus Carlsen is so good is because he's a genius. The other part of it is that he can go look at every single one of Garry Kasparov's games that he's ever played. Every single one of Bobby Fischer's games.
And learn from them.
And you can just see, what everyone else has done before. So when you go to a coach, and the reason that coaching is effective if used correctly is because you've
done 1,000
Yes,
reps.
I've done.
So you can say it's a
20
discard
years.
and why,
Yeah.
rather than me play 1,000 rounds to maybe I won't learn the lesson in 1,000 because I'm not as smart as you either.
Sure.
That's both of it, right? Because some people learn in 10 reps and they get a very good grasp on a deck. So that takes some people longer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like in maths, you don't have to derive your formula every time you use it. You just use the fucking formula, right? I'm not asking you
Yep.
guys to teach. Every time I ask you to calculate the area of a triangle, you don't have to prove to me why that calculates the area of a triangle. You just go base times height divided by 2 and pump it out.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Are you offering coaching on building decks?
Yeah, I offer coaching
Specifically?
on anything. I
Because
mean,
that's something I'd be interested in. Because I think like piloting is one thing, but building decks is a whole other skill set and complexity on its own.
yeah, I think that's actually much more interesting. I prefer
Yeah.
teaching on that sort of stuff because it's much more theoretical.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think I've thought about getting coaching on.
Yeah.
Like, let's blank slate. What do we want to build?
Yeah.
This is the thought process.
Yeah.
I did it with Matt Rogers. I don't know if you ever caught that video.
Yes, yeah, I did.
Oh.
I do it with sort of. I give a taster of what that process is when I was coaching Lachlan, for example. He said, "Okay, I want to look at moving from Blitz into CC." I said, "Okay, let's build the CC Dorinthia deck." Now, obviously, I have that deck already.
But you talked him through the process.
Yeah, and I said, okay, these are all the cards I'm putting in. These are the cards. This is how many slots that we have left. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we putting all these cards in? Why are we doing it in this order? And there were times he'd say like, oh, okay, what about this card? I'm like, yeah, that comes later. For now, we need to put these core pieces in, and then we can think about those other cards further down the line when we're looking at cards 60 through 80. I think that's an important... it's definitely an important thing. No one's ever reached out to me specifically and said, can you coach me on deck building, which is probably my biggest skill. I've never tried
the reason
it.
I say it, you could teach me how to play Dory.
Sure.
But if...
How to build Dory is
It's-
different, yeah.
No. Well, but it's not just that, right? It's the teach a man to fish.
Yes.
If you teach someone how to deck build, how to read cards,
Yeah.
that's actually a better skill set to learn if you want to learn anything.
Sure. I agree.
Because then you'll also understand other decks a bit better if you look at a list and go, what's this deck trying to do? But be able to go more than like one level deep
Yes.
and
Yeah,
see synergies and cards. And okay, so this deck I got to... Okay, so like the simple one is Warrior cracks Brave Forge Braces, or Warrior has Refraction Bolters live.
Yeah.
When you see that across from you, you and I know your decisions are different.
Yes.
When those resources are gone, but it's important to understand why.
Yeah, I think so. That's a really good example.
Like the way I beat Chain is to try and get Husk in the bin. A good
Yes.
value for me is
Yeah.
Dory. I try and fake a big attack, and then I Arsenal and just watch the Husk go in the bin while they're on exactly 12 life. I'm like, gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't want it to save him 6 life, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
like
think
in a perfect world. Yeah.
So what you've just said, like you want them to force Husk, is exactly what I do into Dorinthia players because I've played so much Dory. I know exactly when they can do it. So if I am making them or I'm putting them in a situation where they can be tempted to break their bolters and then swing again, and I'll even go, fuck yeah, you can have the counter, and I'll take 3 more damage and they have a counter, and then the next turn I crack them.
Yep.
And then all the value that they've gotten out of their bolters is 3 damage, when I know value from bolters can be long-term easily 10, 15 damage, based on like how much value you're getting off the counter over so many different turns and threat level and so on and so forth. If I can force that, then I'm winning that trade. But if then my opponent correctly decides not to break their bolters in that situation when they're not getting a huge amount of value out of it, then I realize my opponent knows what they're doing, and then I might have to adjust certain plays. That means like I'll be in a situation where I could make a risky play or a conservative play. If my opponent's made the sort of mistake where they're cracking bolters for low value, then I'll be more inclined to make a riskier play to close the game out as opposed to making a conservative play and try to win on margins, things like that.
I want to talk about Talishar for a bit.
Let's go.
Go.
Well, I got one more
So I'm
question
looking
about
at you
coaching.
first.
One
Go.
more.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, just using my previous history in TCGs, which is Magic. Let's just pick a date, 2015.
Okay.
In Magic, coaching was pretty much unheard of.
Yes.
To my knowledge, there might have been 1, maybe 2 people that were doing it, max. And I'm talking worldwide.
Yeah.
That the general grinders knew about. There was a lot of content behind paywalls, articles, Star City, things of that nature. But that was about it. Now, fast forward now, I don't know what Magic's doing, but in Flesh and Blood, it seems like per capita, we have a lot of coaches. Now,
Yeah.
is
we
it...
use inverted codes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is it, do you think, a generation or times change, or do you think the game itself, Fab, lends itself to coaching, where you can actually coach someone to level up a lot easier in Fab, maybe because due to less variance or whatever, it's a smaller card pool over Magic, or do you think the culture's changed? What do you think that is? Like, I'm just interested to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so first of all, like if we go back to say 2015, I think there were probably a lot more coaches than you think, but all of us were working behind the scenes with teams already. So as team managers, like essentially a team manager and a coach were pretty much synonymous back then, except you would do some like timetabling and like book flights and, you know, make sure they went to the gym and stuff like that. So I think they did exist, but there wasn't the professional demand for it. Or at least, sorry, there was a professional demand for it, but there wasn't a casual demand. I guess the average person didn't really see the need to pay however much to get a coaching session. My really honest take on why there are more coaches now is because I think people have seen that it's something that can be done successfully and they just want to jump on it. I don't believe the majority of coaches in Fab, in Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, everything. Most of them I think are just useless.
Or good players, but not necessarily good coaches.
Yeah. When I say they're bad coaches, it doesn't mean they're not good players. There
Yeah.
are plenty of fantastic
I'm
players.
saying it's easier to become it because jiu-jitsu has the same problem.
Yeah.
The way people open their gyms is they go win worlds, then they open a gym.
How long has the podcast been going
But
for?
20 minutes.
Before you managed to mention jiu-jitsu?
But so we'll get to the jiu-jitsu story soon. But Fluke was busy kicking someone's ass on the weekend. Sorry, Rory. But
Damn.
but do you think Fab itself lends itself to coaching, like the way the game is structured, the mechanics of the game?
Yeah, I think to an extent more so than other games because I do think it's a little bit more complex. Yeah. So there are more points at which you can teach someone to be better. Now, I think one of the downsides of that and why there are perhaps more coaches per capita nowadays, particularly in Fab, given how young it is as a game, is that it's very easy to look like you're better at the game when you're really not.
Like XP.
Yeah, I mean, XP is a great example. If you just got Boomer XP, then it looks like you're cracked. Or if you have a 4-digit ID, then people are like, okay, man. There's like psychological factor behind it. But you can be like the best player in your region, and that region can be, I don't know, like I'm just picking something out of a hat. Like you can be in
New Zealand,
backwater Idaho or something, right? Yeah, okay. You're the best player
Idaho.
in New Zealand.
We got some fans in Idaho. Don't worry about that. Sorry, team.
Yeah. But
I get what you're saying.
You can be
100%.
the best like dancer in your country club, but that doesn't mean you're going, to Shenyu or whatever the hell it's called, right? Very niche. So you can definitely seem a lot better, but on the grand scale of things, you're not actually that good. Whereas in I think a lot of other games, if you're a good coach, it tends to be very clear that you are good. I think in Fab, a lot of people kind of get away with. From what I've heard and what I've seen viewing other people's coaching content, people get away with spruiking off basic stuff as if it's some kind of high-level gospel at times. And I'm not very impressed by that. I feel like there are some things that if someone asks me, you don't need to pay me to teach you, basic stuff, right? Really, really fundamental stuff. Oh, like what are the core combos in Dorinthia? Oh, glistening plus twinning. Right, like that's not Galaxy Brain stuff. You can have that one for free. But if you're asking, like how do I win this particular matchup when my opponent sideboards this in, then I'm like, okay, that's a little bit more in depth. So I think it would be good if more coaching was focused around this idea of teaching complex concepts, breaking them down so that they're simple and relevant to the person that you're teaching, rather than I think this more blanket approach that a lot of people take, which I think is long-term not effective. It's part of the reason why I think comparatively to other coaches, I think I charge a little bit more. But that's because I value what I'm doing, and I think that what I'm doing is better. Period.
I think I'll need to book in a session before Worlds. Yeah, baby. All right.
But yeah. Well, we should I say a little poem now?
Yes.
If you have one,
yes,
go.
Yes.
Should we take our headphones off?
Entertain me,
No.
please.
Keep your headphones on. So
I'm just going to lean back so I don't explode.
I think that's what people loved last time, was you just fucking losing your shit.
I'll turn his mic down.
So we're getting into Dynasty. We're in spoiler season right now.
God.
So I thought
Rock season.
Rock season, that's it. Yeah, let's get ready to rock and roll. I thought I would write a little poem about spoiler season. This is called Twinkle Twinkle Spoiler Star.
Go, don't wait for it. Can't wait for it. Man.
Okay. You can sing this to your kids if you want. Twinkle, twinkle, spoiler star. How I wonder what you are. Will you break the metagame or be the next Runeblade? Boring and truly lame. Twinkle, twinkle, spoiler star. 'Tis the season for content creators, near and far. Except for those pissants who do nothing but talk shit. Have you ever wondered why James White won't grant your spoiler wish? Up above the player base, so high, on your Twitter pedestal, your follow count, 35. I'm just so glad you uploaded your mediocre Blitz tier list. But your opinion is irrelevant. I think we'll all give it a miss. Twinkle, little spoiler star with Dynasty on nigh. As the cards keep rolling in, I just can't help but sigh at your absolutely lukewarm takes. It's broken, trash, or mid. Please keep in mind, you entitled prick. Nobody fucking asked you, kid. Don't think I didn't catch you last week at the discount hobby store, begging mummy for that deluxe Crayola pack. You Briar one-trick whore. I'll see you at Worlds, and when you get crushed, at least you can say you tried. Or wait, maybe not. I'm sorry, I forgot. You didn't qualify.
Bravo. Encore. T. Holy shit.
Did you have anyone in mind when you
Are we
wrote
just going to
that?
name this episode Fuck You, Kid? Is that going to be the title of
Do
this
that, yes.
episode?
It's the title of my sex tape.
Wait,
Oh, God.
Pause.
yeah, can't say that. Can't say that. Wow.
Do I have anyone in mind?
Oh, my
Yes.
God.
Several people.
It is a bit sad.
That was brilliant. Once again. I just,
He's crying.
I love the tempo. I love the tone. I love the changes in your expression. I just can't get it.
But seriously, stop uploading Blitz tier lists. Holy shit. If you don't
Did
play
you see
Blitz.
my video?
Yeah, I did. I 100% agree with 95%
I've been
of
wanting
what
to
you
say.
said.
Sure. I was speaking off the cuff, but it actually gets on my nerves.
Yeah, me too.
actually, because I'll turn up to like a store and there's a guy that just picked up the game. Shout out to all the new players, by the way. We met a few new players on Sunday, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I watched the tier list and like I was told not to play this." I'm like, and they talk about Kasai or Dory and Blitz. I'm like, are you fucking kidding?
Yeah.
Do you want to demolish 90% of armories? Turn up on Dory. Know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You catch everyone off guard. Like, it doesn't matter. I won a winner box against you when I was a new player because Dory just has a surprise
Yeah,
factor.
great deck.
Like, even though you're very good, I had 2 routes instead of 1, and it just caught you off guard.
Yep.
It's one of those decks that can do that. It's not predictable.
Yep.
Fucking, it's a bad deck.
Yeah.
Or people saying Kasai is like low tier. I'm like, do you want to get blown out? Dude, I beat Viserai in the Viserai meta on Kasai easy. Just need to like,
Yeah, I think Viz
need to
into
get
Kasai is
lucky a
definitely
little.
good for Kasai. Yeah.
Yeah, but you need to get a little lucky. But I can pitch your game, buddy, and swing, pitch your game, make coppers, and then kill you. Like, it's people don't know what they're talking about.
I think this is a
It's like
thing.
really obviously about Blitz, especially, that don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, because these are CC players who have put, like, and don't get me wrong, until 2 weeks ago,
They weren't playing Blitz.
exactly, right? And same with me. I've just put in the last, 2-3 weeks, particularly since we got back from
Lots,
nationals. Yeah, every day I try and play, like, actually realistically an excessive amount of Blitz. I'm playing like 20-30 games minimum per day of Blitz because I just have no experience
though.
in that. It's, yeah, I mean, look, on certain decks I have more fun than others. Sorry, Paul, I really hate playing Rhino. I really hate playing against
Yeah,
it.
I don't like playing Rhino. Yeah.
I feel like
What don't you like about playing it?
it's just kind of unga bunga sometimes.
Is it
which I-
just one dimensional? Feels one dimensional?
I feel like I don't have as well. Okay, first of all, I think I'm well and truly at the mercy of some very bad hands sometimes. Like, I think that deck has a bit of a, like, it can brick pretty badly.
You've played my deck list, right?
Yeah.
That lowers the variant. Like, that is trying to minimize RNG, the way I've built that list.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good concept. I just think, especially given what the metagame looks like. I just think Blitz Icelander and Blitz Oldhim are
Very strong.
yeah, really, really powerful decks.
And Chain still has that like
Chain has legs.
blowout turn that you just physically like you just die.
Yeah, I mean this is the thing with Blitz right now. So we're not doing a tier list, but if we want to talk about like how many viable heroes are there right now, so many.
There's a lot.
Right? Not splitting anything into tiers, but putting aside Icelander, Oldhim, Reiner.
That's what I was trying to say. There's like
Two different
literally
Dories,
10
Kasai,
heroes that could
yeah.
win worlds.
Exactly.
Could. It's not even
Chain, Briar, Prism. If Dromai won, I'd be a little surprised, but it's possible. Dash is definitely up there. Ira
Dash
is
is
still
good.
super playable.
Pounder and Blitz.
People are sleeping on Dash. Dash is
Dash
still
is really
solid.
powerful.
Dash is very
But
powerful.
Dash also wins into some of the worst like decks. Like Dash can beat Oldhim and
Consistently
because
beat
of
Oldhim.
Pounder. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Max velocity comes in for 10
For
or
10.
whatever. Stupid.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty...
And I'm just saying, like, you can deal...
pretty crispy if you manage to
Yes.
get that. But
Yes.
yeah.
I got hit twice by it on the weekend. It was
Really?
great. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 dashes, 2 different dashes too.
That feels bad.
It didn't feel good, man.
Yeah, I mean, look...
My just on the very last thing, my biggest point, I probably didn't make very clear in my video, is not that people don't know what they're talking about, more that people make a lot of assumptions and guesses and tickets without ever playing the deck. Let's talk about Zuma Dory, as you
Sure,
call her,
yeah.
New Dory.
Quicksilver Prodigy.
I know no one plays that deck.
Yeah.
I've played it. You played it at the calling.
Yeah.
But go look at like when you any time anywhere you're playing, but it's not a played deck. Also, it's an expensive deck because you got to buy 3 glistenings, and that's part of the 2 glistenings, but it's part of the problem. People just rate her base. What I'm trying to say is people that are making tier lists have literally physically never sleeved up that deck, or they've never played into someone who actually plays it. Like just because you downloaded a list once and your friend tested it, that doesn't count. I had this issue at Pro Tour, like I said, sit in front of people and they're like, shit, that's not a Dory deck like they play at my locals. I go, do you have a local Dory? And I go, nah, we just tested, like we downloaded a couple of lists and tested on TTS. I'm like, you've never tested against Dory then.
And Helm of Sharpeye card's pretty good.
Very good.
Yeah.
But that's not even it. It's like literally the
I
glistening.
told you about that.
The amount of people that you'd go glistening twinning and they go, wait, that has go again? You're like,
Yeah.
so you just don't play
You don't-
against
exactly.
Dory.
You have no idea how it
Like
works,
if you've never
right?
seen a glistening twinning combo, you've never played against Dory for a while. Like since that, I'm sick of talking about those stupid fucking blitz decks, man. The tier list, I should say.
you've been doing your blitz,
Yeah.
20, 30, 40, 50
Yeah.
a
Sometimes,
day on
yeah.
Talishar? Or
Sometimes on Talishar, sometimes I play on paper with other people. Sometimes I play on paper by myself. It depends exactly what I'm trying to do. So I think Talishar is a really good tool for me to learn my own deck. So when I say play on Talishar, I'm kind of saying playing on Talishar with random
randoms.
people. Yep. So on average, the quality of the player that I'm playing on Talishar is not as good as the quality of the player that I'll be playing at World Championships, not as good as the quality of the player that I'll be playing in my own testing. So in those situations, all I'm trying to do is make sure my deck works smoothly, right? Does it run the way I want it to? Are there any kinks in it? Does it need to have a higher blue ratio, or are there certain cards that I'm just never playing? Things like that is what I'm really looking at. I'm never really considering like what interaction I'm having with my opponent, or what their deck is really doing. I have a rough semi-conscious idea, but for the most part, I'm focusing on myself because realistically, they're not playing optimally.
There's a lot of jank as well.
And exactly.
People playing Sift, Oldham and stuff. Just okay,
Sure,
it's fine.
or Valda and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, I love those decks, but that's not what I'm going to be seeing in rounds, 12 to whatever it is at Worlds. So I put less stock into that, other than as essentially it's me solitaring with some degree of interaction, right? Because the problem with solitaring is that you can be like, oh yeah, it works perfectly, but that's if you've never blocked for the entire game and that sort of thing, and that's not actually how Fab works. So it's just solitaire plus. When I'm playing with my teammates is really the best form of testing I have. When I'm testing 2 decks against each other and I'm sitting on either side, it's really hard to do that well. I think that's a kind of a skill that I don't even know how I would teach someone how to do that, because you need to look at what's your optimal line and
trying to ignore what you know about. Yeah.
But also but even though you're ignoring it, you need to still be semi-conscious of it and be like, okay, this is potentially a hand. So now I'm seeing the sorts of hands that my opponents might have.
Yep.
And now I need to keep in mind when I'm playing closed hand, I've seen what sort of hands they can have, how they can block. Because, like, for example, when you're sitting across from Chain or Briar, then say you're playing Dory, right? Breakpoint's really important on that hero. If you've played open hand, double-sided, Chain versus Dory or Briar versus Dory, you know there are times where their hand is like 2-2-3-3 block, right? And if you come in for 9, they have to dump their whole hand. And you know that if you're playing into Oldhim, they're going to very consistently be able to play in the reaction step because they're going to have a defense reaction, every single time. It's very easy when you've only sat on one side of the matchup, even though you might have played the matchup 50 times, to be like, oh, they always have the defense reaction. But when you actually play it open hand on both sides, you say, yeah, actually they do have the defense reaction every single time.
Have to assume.
So you need to play around that, right? It forces you to think in a different way. So I think there's value in all 3 different ways of testing. You need to split your time up.
It's not better to just do that with a partner if you're going to play open-handed.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously is, right? But I
don't always have someone.
Yeah, right.
So I was making this comment about Talishar.
Let's hear it.
Let's see what you think. So by the way, love the team. I interact mostly with Jotrick, like great guy. He's a judge. He was at Lille. Clearly, it's a passion project, right? They don't make money from it. It's a team of 2, I believe, is the main.
Okay.
Here's my issue with it as of late. One is this like. It came to my mind because you said cracking refractions for low value. Like I was playing into an Icelander and I got 2 red sharpened steels and a blue.
Okay.
And a Iron Song response. I was like, this is a very because I know he's going to block from hand, right? So I go 9 and he blocked with 4 cards for 10 or whatever it was. I'm like, Iron Song response, crack refractions, pay 1 into Brayforge, come in for 4.
Yeah.
Easy counter. He conceded 2 rounds later, like 2 turns later. Because I got 3 counters and he just... I never gave him a chance. And the one time he had a blizzard, I had 2 blues. So I was like, bop.
Okay, yeah.
That is a part of the problem. So one is you have this like... People would never do that in Armory, like concede like that usually. Like I'll tilt, I can tilt, but like when you're playing on a web browser, so people's pace, then there's people tilting and there's like actual salt or rudeness, like people calling each other like shit.
Yeah, I've gotten that.
But my other issue is this. Maybe it's just me. I'm not burnt out by the game. I've been going through some shit. But if I like Talishar, because it's so easy to just jump on and play, I'm also less interested in going to an Armory just to play.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like I go, let's say specifically, if it's a Blitz Armory and I feel like playing CC, I'm just more likely to jump on Talishar.
Okay.
But also, if you put 50 fucking hours into Talishar a week, are you really going to get up and go to an Armory to play paper?
No, I don't.
Sure, but I'm saying if Talishar didn't exist, would you be more likely to go?
To Armories? To be fair, when I'm testing... I'm
not talking about... I'm talking
just
generally as players, the 3 of us.
Okay.
Because I'm feeling as a player, and like I'm sort of putting myself out there as the punching bag here. I have been going to Armories. It's just... I can see how it's like a slippery slope that I can get my kicks playing the game. And like I was mentioning to Paul, I don't give a fuck about the Armories promos this month.
Yeah.
Like I won the playmat at Blood Rush, what's his name? The guy yelling at the sheet. There was a new player that didn't have a fab playmat. Or he liked this one a lot. I just gave it to him. That's the only one I would have wanted. But it actually doesn't have a Dynasty. Doesn't have Dynasty on it. So I don't want to open Dynasty on it. So I just let him have it. And like the hero Yoji is like, cool, but I'm probably never going to play it.
Yeah.
And I'll just wait for a Rainbow 4 version. But that's it. Like that's the incentives of me turning up. Yes, the friendships, turning up, talking to people, hanging out, 100%. I want that. But also, like, I'm happy to just talk to those people. We talk all day in the chat. And I feel like maybe Talishar has that effect of, like, you're playing a lot of fab without leaving your house.
Yeah, so I really hate online clients just generally. So that's just my personal perspective on it. I find it really hard to focus on them. And that's because it was my job for 80 hours a week to sit in a casino, right? And play cards on paper. So my brain is wired to want to play on paper. I really love playing in paper. And part of the reason that I show, because let's be honest, right? Someone like me gets zero testing value from showing up to an armory. Like, absolutely none.
It's not a testing environment.
Exactly, right? For me,
You
I'm
allow
going...
takebacks. It's just a fun thing.
Yeah. If I go to an armory, it's exclusively to be part of a community, right? And I personally feel like Talishar, for a player like me who goes to armories exclusively because I want to be part of a community and I want to enjoy that, I think Talishar will never take that away from me. Now, right now, am I not going to armories because of Worlds? Yeah, absolutely. Generally, though, if I'm given the choice between, in a time where I don't have to test for anything, and someone says to me, or you message me and you say, hey, let's play some games, I would rather...
Meet up.
Yeah, I would rather drive 40 minutes plus, which is how far I have to drive to get to some of these armories, to go and play 5 games, hang out, shoot the shit, have a good time, drive home, than play 30 games on Talishar, which you could do in the same time. That's just my personal view on it. Can I see that maybe some people who all they want to do is play the game, and they'll, the sort of crowd that were never going to spend money on the game anyway. Oh, I just stay home and play.
That's not my concern.
Yeah.
Because I like collecting the game.
Sure.
To be honest, I would still buy as much product to crack. I don't think that's what I'm saying. I feel like just lately I've been getting my fix. Fab, just logging onto Talishar. Literally, I've been playing maybe a game or 2 a day, just so keep sharp, just to play. It's not even sharp, it's just for fun. But
yeah, I guess because I don't get my kicks out of playing online clients full stop.
Yep.
I can't see when you were streaming and I joined and I played with you, that was way more enjoyable for me because I had someone who I like, I'm friends with.
Yep.
I'm playing with you.
He likes me. You heard that here first.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. You're kind of cute, bro.
Appreciate it. Do you like the jiu-jitsu scar on my
head?
head?
That's hot, dude. Yeah. It's a battle scar.
You know what's funny? I did that to myself. So
what, did you just hit yourself in the head with the door?
I was rolling and I'm doing a flip and I landed on my outstretched thumb and then I looked and there's just a whole chunk of dead skin and I'm like, ooh, there's blood. It's great.
I thought maybe you converted.
No.
I thought it was Roy getting some revenge.
Actually, completely off topic, but Roy and I went and did some jiu-jitsu. It was very fun. And actually, Kirk's coming on Sunday. Mr. Fab DB himself. Saturday, sorry. If you guys want to...
Exciting. I probably won't because I'll be at home testing, to be fair.
Fine.
Which is, I hope you can understand.
But Roy was... I'm going to call him out. Roy turns up, signs up, and we do the warm-up. And he was going a bit hard in the warm-up.
Yeah.
And it's a 90-minute class. He was wrecked. His cardio is better than mine, but I knew to pace myself. And he was doing like the warm-up, but I could see him pushing. I'm like, I mean, good for him. He was pretty tired. So it wasn't fair, Roy. We'll have a rematch. It's fine.
Yeah, when he's not so gassed out.
For me, look, for Talishar, I'm the same. I haven't played computer games seriously since 2004. Okay, I'm well past that in my life, never to return. And I hate Arena with a passion, everything about it. Moto, sure, I did
get behind that.
I did enjoy it because it was like, it felt like a TCG. You had a collection. I could use it at my convenience to get a critical mass of games in before a big event. Did I play it every day, ad nauseum all year round? No, not at all. Not at all. I'd always choose to play in person. Okay, that's where I get my energy from. My rest is being around others and, true extrovert. I just get my rejuvenation, my peace around other people. That's how I recharge, basically. And I love the community and I love doing things in paper because I'm a lazy player. If I only play Talishar, like I did before Nats because I didn't have a choice, I think I had the record for missing the amount of embodiment tokens.
Yeah.
Because it does it automatically. Now Talishar has its plus because it shows me exactly how the layers work and the chain and all that, and I love that. And I learnt a lot of things. But it does, like, some people that doesn't affect. You saw some wizards in Bloody Magic, they qualify for the Pro Tour. All they ever play is Moto. They never play paper. And they come onto the Pro Tour and play paper and they never miss a trigger. It's like,
Yep.
what the fuck? How do you do that? Moto's been doing it automatically for you, and that's all you've jammed for 12 months. How do you transfer that into paper and remember everything? But then other people in Magic, I was one of them, if I played too much Moto, it made me worse in paper. It like got to a certain point where instead of progressing, I would regress. So Talish for me, it's a convenience thing. At the moment, you shared that story about your student not feel like, because you gifted me the PTI fill, if it's late at night and, I get up at 4:30 every morning, I'm busy as hell. But still at 10 o'clock at night, if I haven't played any fab, I will get some rounds in, and my eyes are falling out because I don't want to disappoint you. Not that I think I'm going to do that well, but I feel that. Like, I feel like, shit, I really should be doing this. Phil was so generous and gave me something I really treasure. I should, at least every day make a conscious effort to get some games in, which I have been doing. So Talish is great for that. It's great for that too when your store...
We have that issue in Sydney. The RC crew used to be competitive CC because when you want to test, you could go to RC.
Yeah, because
that's gone.
We don't have that. We've just got certain stores that are stuck in their blitz no matter what time of the year. So it's hard to find places to sort of play CC.
Some feedback, because we talked about this maybe on the pod where it's just you and I, but Grimdark have gone back to blitz.
Yeah.
Or they've at least switching back to blitz for a while. Because you're still going to have that issue. You can't... I don't believe you can run a one-store format. You know what I mean? If anything, you should maybe call the store that's nearest to you or, you share players and go, how about when you're CC, I'm Blitz? And we just have a month in. Because it does feel a bit odd when, technically, though, the percentage of players going to Worlds is tiny compared to the percentage of players.
Yeah,
like
I think it's five people in Sydney.
Yeah, so, you can't go switch around for Worlds, but, skirmish is coming up. You should be running Blitz.
Yes.
ProQuest coming up, run CC.
Yeah.
Draft RTNs coming up, run draft.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. We've got a few store owners that literally have no finger on the pulse, which pisses off all the time because we're like, we don't even know what the format's going to be, let alone that they're following what's actually happening in the community. But we also don't have a big store presence anymore.
I think Grimdark, because you brought them up, I think they're pretty much bang on with how they do it.
Oh, but they ran a WTR draft on Sunday. I was like, man, if that was close to
That's
me.
what I was saying to John.
exactly.
Like I said, why aren't our stores
You
having a
have to
draft
stop.
night every week and they're changing it? Go, this week we've got first edition Monarch. Next week we've got first edition Toa.
Yep.
Next week we're doing Uprising.
Also, sell your stock that way.
Yeah.
Everyone has all this stock.
Honestly, not to
It's not hard,
too
right?
much, but Grimdark actually embarrasses every other store
Yes.
with how well they not just Fab.
Yes, not just
Every
that.
single thing that they do. And obviously Brandon's my boy, I've known him for years, right? But he has run
It's
this
embarrassing
shit.
that it's not even his full-time job.
Exactly. It's not even it's exactly
Like, he
right.
actually
It's a
doesn't do it
passion
full-time,
project that he just does because he wants to he fucking loves games and he runs that store. He runs the event cycle, prizing everything better than full stop every single other store.
And
I've
he's
ever
grinding
played in.
Facebook, Instagram, constantly keeping his community
Look, let's be
informed.
honest, it's probably mostly Emily, not him.
But he's doing
Whatever,
belts.
man,
He's
like-
doing
But they make
tournaments.
it happen. They make
Yeah.
it work.
He's doing everything.
Yeah.
And the belts and the
He
plane.
does
Oh,
everything.
yeah,
You should
yeah.
see his weekly schedule.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Actually unreasonable how good he is at this stuff. Everyone else should
Look, we were
take
pressuring
notes.
him. We have a group chat with him. We're like, hey, mate, when's the store opening in Sydney? Or just
Might be,
spitballing
might be
some
happening.
suburbs.
Might
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
happening.
Yeah. I think it's
One
it's
good
fantastic.
piece of news is GamesCube might be doing UPF armories from now on.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Cool.
Because that's also missing where's the one? Also, it's on a Sunday, so it's gonna run when skirmishes are on and ProQuest are on.
Yeah.
They always have that problem with having an empty store. So they're thinking about running a casual, even more casual than Blitz. You just go there for UPF.
Has anyone have you played a game of UPF?
I watched the finals at Pro Tour Jersey, but I've never played.
No.
This
No
is,
interest.
So
Thank you very
I
much.
have a bit of
Sure,
I think a lot of people are clamoring for UPF, particularly in Australia. I've seen quite a lot for it. I don't know what the global community's perspective on it, but I know in Australia there is quite a bit. And I know for a fact that there are people in the global community who are interested in UPF. I don't know how widespread that is. I've also seen the comment made that if UPF were to become a more supported store event, then it would revolutionize the player base and whatever word you want to use for it. I think if that were the case, people would have started playing UPF already. in the same way that Commander was an unofficial format that people just got together and started playing because they wanted to do it, just fucking do it. Like,
So
if you
that's-
actually think it's worth doing, then get your mates together and play UPF. Because I personally,
You haven't seen it.
anecdotally, I've never seen
Yep.
any store, and I've never heard of anyone sitting down to play UPF
But
in
so
the
this
Sydney
is
region.
this is my counter for that. I think the problem with that UPF has the rules. I don't know the rules.
Sure.
First of all,
Yep.
right? Like,
Yep,
I don't
neither
know
do I.
because some people say you can only attack to your left or whatever goes like you can't attack anyone, which the cards themselves say you can attack anyone. So that's weird to me, right? When it says any target, it says
okay.
any, right? So I don't. Not that that matters because I feel like UPF you could play it like people play Uno, Monopoly. Is you agree how you're playing
then
and
you
go,
play,
hey, can we
yeah.
play like attack anyone? Yes, cool. Because it's politics and whatever. Like it's not supposed to be super regimented.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't have a ban list.
Scary.
So I think no, but it's not. It doesn't.
no, sure,
listen,
sure,
you
yeah.
can have seeds in your chain deck. That's fine. If all three of us attack you before your turn one, you die.
You die. Yeah.
And then we will play our game with merchants because we told you not to be an asshole last week. You know what I mean? Like it has that capacity, which I think Commander has as well. Like you can pretty much get rid of a toxic player if there's 1 versus 3.
Yeah,
The
of
one
course.
doesn't matter the power
Just
level.
bully them, of course. Everyone loves a bit of gentle bullying.
More importantly, I think UPF hasn't taken off because it's not a specific like stores can't run a UPF armory anyway.
Why not?
It just doesn't have it in the system. Like that's not what the promos and stuff.
Oh,
are
no,
designed
I don't mean
right?
for promos. Why can't they just run an entry?
Here's what I think. So I Blitz CC are the same game, like
Yeah.
same rule set. You sort of understand them.
yeah.
It's the one-on-one Street Fighter combat. Everyone
Yep.
likes it. I think that's the draw of the game. It's also clearly where all the passion and energy and design space went into, not into UPF.
Sure.
I was on the fence about it till I went to Jersey. Very last event, watched the UPF tournament. I got someone told me, there's a gold foil for the UPF event. I'm like, what the fuck? What gold foil? Like Chris, because I was with Chris Gearing. I'm like, hey, what gold foil? He's like, oh, it's a gold foil that's never been given out before. I'm like, and it ended up being a Silver Palms.
Okay.
Gold foil, right?
Yeah.
Step 1, Silver Palms gold foil is a fucking good reason to play UPF. So at Worlds, if they're running a UPF event, you better fucking believe I'm in that. And I'm sweet talking everyone, trying to politically get my way to the final table and not die first, right?
Yeah.
Second,
You heard
that-
it. You just kill him, team.
Yeah.
No,
if he's on
no,
your
no, no.
table,
No.
crush that stream.
I'll fucking kill you in the car park if you kill me. Second,
He's not
That
joking.
You know
was
it's
the
Fab,
most
not Yu-Gi-Oh! Right?
entertaining game of Fab I've ever watched.
Okay.
James White nearly left the building when he heard how that game happened. He literally came back into the building and wanted to play-by-play back to how that game went.
Yeah, wow.
There was a Shiana and a KO at the table.
Yeah, right.
There was Taylor, who'd won the competition the day before,
Yeah.
sleeved up Taylor and all the
Yep.
equipment. By the way, the amount of rules misplays during this UPF tournament was insane. There was a judge sitting there the whole time, and the shit that was happening shouldn't have been happening. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
but the fact that, the Shiana copied the KO and then went, whatever it was, I think crippling or spinal for fucking 22,
billion, yeah.
and then Red pummeled it and did the Brent brute. Like he's been wanting to do that all my fucking life. He rolled 3 6s in a row or 2 6s and a 5, right? And but demolished everyone and then got turned on straight away because it's way too cracked and no one wanted to kill the KO, so that just get rid of the Shiana before. You know what I mean? Like it was that, and then the Taylor wins because the Taylor, everyone's misjudging her health pool.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she's on 10.
The
It's
hero
like,
has
no,
30
mate, she's
health,
on
man.
38
Yeah.
right now. Like, she's not killable because she just sides that in another 8 life or whatever. Cracked. So fun. And that's the thing. You're a deck builder. Like, the amount of surprises you could have. Like, Pummel Dromai was fun when we played around with that, and I just smashed people with it. But see, in UPF, there's another 5 heroes, 10 heroes. I don't know how many there are now. Yorik's been banned.
Yes. Understand.
No, but the other heroes like Yoji, like the Drokai of Judgment, type Hannes, like the ability to to point
Redirects,
damage
yeah,
away.
yeah.
Shiana herself is the most complex mechanic.
Very complicated here.
But if you know what the fuck you're doing, the amount of good cards you can have in that deck
Yeah.
No one actually knows what's in your deck. Like that's
Yeah.
the beauty, I think, of UPF and why it could be fun is you can spike it. I believe it's a format you can spike, but also you cannot just walk in with the best deck.
Yeah, sure.
Because that doesn't matter. If you're constantly the person on Kano wiping the board, you will just get one shot immediately.
The one thing I'm just disappointed about is that the gold foil silver palms isn't just called
Gold.
palms.
that's how cool it is. That's why I was like, wait.
Here's my issues with this. Okay, first things first. Anyone I've known, okay, I don't know everyone that's played, obviously UPF, but the people I've spoken to that have played it say it's pretty shit. Okay, let's be frank. It's clunky. It's messy. The way it works, it's not a good experience. Like you said, Phil, if it was a great experience, every Tom, Dick, and Harry would already be playing it, right? If UPF was amazing to play, right? Amazing. You just sat down and it was just smooth, slick. It worked in with the flesh and blood mechanics. People would be playing it. You wouldn't have to tell them to play it. They'd be playing the damn thing. What I've been told, not that good. Okay? Now, follow up from that, I don't want to see... I'd hope that LSS wouldn't pump resources away from Limited, CC, and Blitz into UPF. I'm more hot on, I'm getting quite a bit of a hard on for PvE. Okay, I see more of a future, more of a unique space, and all these UPF heroes they can play in PvE, right? Like they're built in my mind. When I see them the mechanics more leading to a PvE experience over a UPF experience. I think there's other people in the industry, whether it's Magic with Commander, doing it better already. I don't think Fab LSS need to be distracted by it. I think keep UPF there and don't abandon it. But I just
I don't think it exists right now. There's no scene for it.
I think PvE is the. What do you think about PvE, Phil? Do you have any hopes for it?
I don't care about PvE formats. I look, if it's fun, it's fun. For me, the reason I play card games is because I want to beat someone.
Yeah, compete. Yeah.
So PvE has no inspiration for me. I mean, Keyforge had a PvE format. I never touched it. Like, obviously, I was very competitive at that game. Even though it's being revived now. That's funny.
Yeah, I saw.
Actually, a team reached out to me and they were like, "Do you want to come and play this game again?" And I had a look at it and I was like, "Nah, I'm good." But look, it in every other game that I've played, PvE has never inspired me. I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons guy. Even when I played the Warhammer Underworlds, the pseudo card game, there was a PvE format for that. I think we played it once and then we went, "Okay, great. We have way more interesting games playing competitively." And I mean, why is that the case? I don't know. In Warhammer Underworlds, it's because I'm not sure if this is the truth for all PvE inspired formats ever, but I feel like PvE has to cater to not the lowest common denominator, but a lower common denominator.
Has to be accessible.
Exactly, right. So then if you sit down with the mentality of someone who has a background playing competitively, and suddenly you're in a situation where it's like, oh yeah, this was made so like everyone can have fun. Like I'm the sort of person where like I know Monopoly strategy, like or Uno like strategy and things like that, right? So when you put me in a PvE environment, I'm like, how quickly can I break this? And once I've done it once, I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah. Monopoly is actually one of the easier games.
Yes.
To just not lose at.
Yeah, exactly. And
especially if everyone else is playing for fun, you just won't lose.
You just crush people. Yeah, like you can win that game in half an hour if you know what you're doing. But
I think that's the draw, right? Is no one should depends on how they do PvE.
Yeah,
it's gonna be more like D&D where it's just none of you want to play. Like it would probably appeal to the people that don't want to have the nothing competitive.
Yeah, no, totally fine. I get that.
I'd like there to be a competitive aspect to the PvE. I'd like there to be challenges, right? LSS challenges.
That's what I was going to get to next. Is if they make it like
so hard.
Here's PvE, but here's like if you can beat this, like the LSS devs struggle to beat this. So here's this boss. Good luck.
Then I'm interested.
Like 5% of the people in the world beat it, and you get an achievement or something.
Yeah, I'm great. So when I think I can't remember if it was. It might have been Hearthstone. Hearthstone, Runeterra, Shadowverse, the 3 digital games that I played. One of them had a raid boss sort of thing.
Yep.
It was really, really hard to do. And there was literally, you got a special card or a card back or something. God, I really don't remember, for being one of the people who beat that.
Yep.
And
So you gotta beat it. Yeah.
I never cared about any of the like versus AI events in any of these games ever. And then this happened, and I was like, well, there's a special card back, so obviously I need to win it now, right? Like, because I need to show that I'm in the 1%. That's just my that's what drives me as a competitive player.
You know what used to be sick? World of Warcraft is such a weird game to have like to watch if you don't play it. But they used to there's a PvE arena format in World of Warcraft, which is crazy because it's a PvE game. It's you and like 39 other mates killing a big dragon.
Yeah.
But then like arena was very hard to balance because all the mechanics are designed for PvE. When you make a PvP format from a PvE game, it's janky. But what was the most interesting to watch was speed runs. They go, oh, here's the best team in the world. Here's the best team in the world. Second best or whatever. Here's a dungeon. We've tuned it up. First to the end wins. And then to see them break it. Do you know what I mean? To see them be able to bypass and finish it in 4 minutes where you thought it was going to take them half an hour.
That would be interesting.
See, if we turned up to Worlds and they suddenly go, hey, let's get Team Australia versus Team Canada. Here's a box of history pack. Crack it, build 3 decks, and we've got a boss you got to try and beat.
Yeah, that would be.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then you're like you're putting your brain power as a team into an objective. It's still competitive. PvE could have legs like that for sure, because that's very fun to watch.
Yeah.
If you go, it's Nick Butcher versus Philip Mackay. You're going to get the same cards. You're going to get 100 cards. You can build a 30-card deck. And we're not like... No, they show you the boss, the mechanics of the boss, and you've got half an hour to build a deck, and whoever beats it first wins.
That'd be so sick.
Yeah. Do you know how... like
that's cool
because
to me.
not everyone can do that. So
Yeah.
it's a skill. And again, if it's streamed, if they mic you up... Do you know what I mean? Like how interesting that is? And it's pure PvE, but there's the competitive...
They should definitely mic me up. They should actually just have me mic'd up for the entire event. That would be just...
There has been some talk.
Follow him around with the camera.
Friend of the podcast, definitely not what. Well, you better be watching. Mr. Brendan Patrick, commentator for Worlds, recently announced
he doesn't watch the podcast.
He took. Excuse me. He took some inspiration from 2018 GP coverage. They called it the Reed Duke.
Oh,
GP,
I know the one you're
where they
talking about.
hooked
Yeah,
him
yeah,
up,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
he was saying, this is something Flesh and Blood LSS should look into. What are your thoughts on that? Do you like that? Like the cricket matches.
Yeah,
I
I think that stuff's real fun. I think there just needs to be... Look, when it comes to commentating, and this is to an extent a criticism of commentators in Flesh and Blood currently, I think the failure in some commentating right now is that there's kind of this concept called color and content. And when you commentate, it's much better if you have just the same 2 people who know how to bounce off of each other and know how to create content live, essentially. Sort of like what we're doing here.
I'm never going to commentate.
Sure, yeah. But I've always felt a little bit underwhelmed with... Universally, there has been no coverage until Australian Nationals this year, where I went, okay,
Yes.
this is a pair of people who I'm genuinely
They're friends,
interested.
right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that because they're good mates. They had good chemistry. Now, there were issues with that broadcast, of course, but when it came to like the small snippets that I did actually listen to, I really found them quite engaging. Now, some of the other commentating that I've heard hasn't been as fun. I think a really good way to spice that up would be to have, the cricket mics on. Now, you do kind of need to be careful about that, because if you put a cricket mic on someone like me,
Start swearing in French.
yeah, exactly. Right? Like,
See, that just takes... I think that's that type of production because you need it. You need a producer in the back to do that properly. Yeah. But I think what we miss... So some of the Flesh and Blood commentary, and I genuinely, I don't watch a lot of it. Because I've been at the events as well. Like when you're at the event, you're not watching the commentary. And I don't necessarily go back and watch. Some of it starts to become a bit self-serving. What I personally dislike, I'm not calling anyone out specifically, but I'm very free with my feedback. Like it's legit. I fucking don't appreciate it. I watched the Magic one. They're talking about the players and they're talking about the cards and not about their fucking selves.
Yeah.
Your job is to point at them.
Yeah.
They're the professional player. If Pablo's sitting there, pull up the Wikipedia type of thing. You should have a sheet.
Yes.
Especially the day before, someone should send you a sheet of those top 8 players, what their achievements are. I saw Flesh and Blood. Hopefully they're printing those cards. You see the cards
they're
with the
sweet.
players on it. Hopefully they give some of these players like their cards to hand out at Worlds.
That's kind of funny. Yeah.
It'd be sick, right? I want to know about them. I want to know about Brody. I don't want to hear about what were they doing. I am going to call someone out here. They were doing like the chat. They were getting like Twitter to give them random words to say during.
Oh, that was
Stop.
Yeah, that
Stop.
was.
It's
That was
like,
US Nats.
You think it's entertaining, and your fans think it's entertaining, but fans of the game that tune in for the
don't care.
game,
Yeah.
because we're talking like 20-something thousand views on those videos. Be professional. Joke all you want, but don't do inside jokes. No one gives a fuck. Do jokes. Talk about Canada versus US. That's funny.
Yeah,
Talk
more
about things that are like professional and on the table and on the screen. Talk about the players. Like, I don't care. We talked about 35 followers on Twitter. None of us in the Fab sphere are famous. Like, do not get that thing in your head that you're anybody. None of us are anybody. None. The game is tiny. Be professional. What you want is some idiot from Magic who hates Flesh and Blood, tunes into the broadcast and goes, geez, that's the reaction you want. You don't want some side little jokes, little Flesh and Blood intricacy, like talking about memes only we understand because there's 5 of us on Twitter that talk about it. Don't do that.
Yeah, there's a time and place for these
No,
things.
but if you're broadcasting, like, what was it? Was it maybe US Nationals or something?
It was US Nats where this happened.
Focus on Nationals. I'm not trying to be, I'm trying to be constructive. It's what, by the way, why I don't want to cast. I don't think I'd be very good at it. It's the same as why I don't know blitz tier list. Like, do it well. If your job is to cast, you should know everything about the player. And if you don't know anything while your other commentators commentating, Google the guy. How old are they? Where are they from? Married or not? Tell me the story. Who the fuck is Pablo? And why does he wear sandals at, like, I want to know. No, but I would see, I can bring that up on the spot. It's funny, but he literally, he's so relaxed, man. Shorts and sandals, acing everybody. The guy, I know he doesn't test with anyone internationally. He only tests in Spain.
With Sunflower, Team Sunflower.
Come on.
Tell me about, I want to learn about
that.
Sunflower. I want to know everything about Sunflower.
I want to know how the fuck this guy has all these sponsors on his jersey and he's from Spain.
Yeah.
Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I actually, when I watched the US Nat, well, actually, every single event that has coverage, I've started with the coverage on, and I last probably 15 minutes before I mute it. In each game.
And I don't think it's a lack of talent. I think it's a lack of direction.
You're correct. Yeah, I think they need someone behind them who's actually telling them what to do.
Or they need to educate themselves. And I'm not talking specifically about people doing the US. I'm talking about all the coverage I've watched because I had much bigger issues. I think it was Krakow. Was it Krakow?
Poland. Yeah.
Poland. Like, there were a couple of weird casting that happened. If you don't know what to say, talk about what you can see. Talk about the board. Talk about the players. You don't have to fill the air. And funnily enough, like, us 3 at the table have some talent with the hot air bullshit. Like, I can talk underwater.
Sure.
But that's still not enough because that's a good skill. But then I also need the technical. I need to know exactly what a red revel says without looking at it, which I don't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, I need to also be disciplined enough to do my homework on the event, on the timings, on what their record is. It's like a sport. Like, I should know what Matt Rogers' achievements are if I'm casting him.
But if they don't, they should, like you said, they should have someone behind the scenes
but dude,
pulling that up on a computer for them so they can see it.
No, that's something you can sit the night before, send a couple of messages out, and you'll have all the data. You can message Matt Rogers himself. Go, hey, can you just tell me your Fab achievements?
Yeah.
Go look up Matt Rogers on the...
But people can't remember everything.
I'm
Give
not
him a piece
asking
of
her to
paper.
remember.
Yeah, that's what
Give
I
him a
mean.
piece
They
of
need
paper.
to...
Yes, maybe LSS could help. I'm just saying that's what I'd like to see. I shouldn't say like what they're not doing. What I'd like to see is more of that, like professional cut. And when I say professional, I'm talking the focus is the players, the community, the cards. Again, people with enough knowledge to go, this board state looks like this is going to happen, and never, ever, ever talking shit about the people playing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a misplay. Fuck off. They're top 8 at nationals. You can't say that.
Yeah,
like,
you can question it, but you can't just straight out be like, it's a misplay.
Be very careful.
Yeah, very careful, yeah.
Because it happened at that calling when Yuanji was playing, and he won the thing, And they were talking shit. I'm like, guys, like, stop talking.
Yeah, you're not there.
Because they were going, oh, that's a weird choice of gloves. Yeah, no, that's not optimal. That's not ideal. He should be doing this. I'm like, he's on Viz in a mirror, and he did win off those cards. I think it was also Tome of the Arknight. They were, you know what I mean? But he, like, in the mirror, you need spice to win usually.
Sure.
Like, you need that bit of variance. Because
Yeah.
if you have the exact same decks, you're way too much at the mercy of luck. But if your deck is already based on luck, you might just high roll. Like, that seems to be what Yanji was doing. The way he'd built his deck was he could beat the mirror. I think that's what Folks did. His deck was built to beat Briars. So he had, like, weird, like, yellow snatches and stuff. It wasn't the most optimal, but he knew if he had those, he had a better chance into the mirror, which is what I don't know enough. I'm just saying.
So it's interesting you say that. So I commentated a Weiss Schwartz event online.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, I know, right?
Is that the one with all the
yeah.
boudoirs?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the one that you like.
What?
Actually, there's a
I'm
few in our locals now.
Yeah. Playing
Yeah.
Weiss. It's a great game, but I was brought back to commentate this event just because I'm a historical player, essentially, not because I was, in line with what was happening presently. It was run by some Canadian guy, Tim Victor Gensi. It was a really well-run event. My co-host was Ken Takahata, who's one of the official commentators for Bushy Road, which is the company that runs Weiss Schwartz. Sydney-based. I know him very, very well. I think we've probably known each other for maybe 10 years now. Or we would have met 10 years ago. Games in Japanese. I don't read Japanese, don't speak Japanese. He does. The name was probably a giveaway. But his entire role on that commentating session was just to read out and translate every single card that I didn't know or that the people watching didn't know. Because a lot of people who watch this game they don't know how to read the cards. You may know what they do, but his role was just read out everything. My job was to do everything else. Talk about the players, talk about what's going on in the board state, what do I think about the state of the game, everything like that. And it worked really, really well. And we had really good engagement. People were donating money, all these sorts of things. It was a fantastic event. Now, the reason it worked was because we had very clearly defined roles. And I feel like when I listen and watch some of this coverage, the commentators are just two of the same person who are maybe bouncing off each other, maybe running parallel, whatever. But it doesn't feel like they actually really know specifically what their position is in that commentary stream.
Like, if your job is entertainment because you're not the pro player,
Yeah.
like, in a sense, if they brought Tall Timmy on, you should be the funny guy.
Yeah.
Does
Your
that
job
make
is to
sense?
shout and scream in the
Which
microphone.
means, ideally, if they put you and Matty Folks on, then you have a good dynamic. Because Matty Folks is funny, but he's mostly going to be able to tell you exactly what he thinks is going on in that play. And you're going to be able to be as funny as you want. No, because if the pressure's not on you...
That's huge.
Yeah, if exactly...
Look at the size of that attack.
Pentakill, you know what I mean?
Dominate.
It's like the fifth attack he goes on, mega kill. But the point is,
we're going to get the Tall Timmy commentator pack coming out
if
soon.
you knew from the very beginning, Paul, your job is not, you don't need to know anything. Yes, we know you know Fab, but we don't need you to talk about the technical aspects. Don't talk about the deck builds, the sideboard, none of that matters. Then you're going to be like, okay, that pressure's off, so that's his job.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? That's important. If that's the way you're going to go. But definitely at least know, like...
There's some sense of direction has
even
to
if
exist.
it's one person is the filler is coming in with stats, is coming... Like when it's boring, you should be talking about the rest of the meta, the other 20 tables going on. Any anecdotal stories. Like, team calling had a brute team of 2 that made it to day 2. That's what you as the commentator should be abreast of, or have someone helping you with.
All I can say is, if you haven't already, watch the cult classic movie called Best in Show.
Yeah.
Okay, Best in Show. Look it up.
Sports movie.
Watch it tonight. It's
about dogs.
somewhat it's somewhat like a parody, like a black comedy sort of brilliant movie, and the commentators the 2 commentators commentating the dog show is some of the best shit you'll ever see. It must be ad-libbed, at least some of it. Watch that. You can probably look them up on YouTube if you can't be able to watch the movie, but I would recommend the movie. It's fantastic.
It's a classic.
They're my spirit animals for sure, not the dogs, the commentators.
Okay.
So Got a question, Phil. I'm
Go
going to pivot. So, yeah, if you don't, people watching this probably already know, especially because I made a video on this last week or the week before, that you did gift me PTI. So I will be playing in Worlds.
Yes.
Now, I haven't spoken to you about this. So that video that I uploaded got a few thumbs down. Okay, rarely. Can you believe it? Rarely.
It was me.
Rarely does a Tall Timmy video get thumbs down, believe it or not. I know they're out there, but I don't know. They don't watch me anymore. But yeah, that video actually copped, not millions, but it copped quite a few thumbs down because I know the whole rule that James White introduced that you can gift PTIs. It's split the community. Controversial, split the community. People have strong opinions on it. Okay, so I just wanted to ask you: why'd you really give me a PTI? What are your thoughts on the gifting system? Do you think it'll stay? Do you think it's good for the game, bad for the game? Just keen to hear about it.
Why did I give you a PTI?
Yes.
This is way simpler to answer than I think people would think. It's because you asked for it. That's literally it.
No.
I offered and you said, yeah, I'd
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it if you
yeah,
have
you-
it.
No,
and
you
then-
knew. So you
Yeah.
knew he was looking for one because
Yeah,
he
you
was
knew I
literally
was
trying to
looking for
buy
one.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
you were
you
looking
said
for
if I
one.
top 8,
I'll give it to you. And I top 8, so I gave it to
yeah,
you.
that's right.
It.
You said I
mean,
already had one. You said if I top 8,
No,
you
we
can
were
have
all
it.
trying to help you get a PTO, like
Yeah.
people selling one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Phil was like, if I win one, have it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I probably am not going to be as heavily involved in Flesh and Blood after the World Championships, at least in the tournament setting. So I can go and sell a PTI to someone that I don't know and they can go and flop with it. Or I can give it to someone who I think deserves it as a pillar of the community.
Who will flop
And-
with it?
Yeah, who will flop with it, but at least like when he flops, it'll be like a fun belly flop, and we can all watch the video on Live Leak later.
Wait,
No,
is there an agreement you get videos for the PTI? Is that
maybe,
the
I don't know.
idea?
Yeah. No, but genuinely, I just thought, of the people that I'd rather given that is something I'm allowed to do. I'm allowed to give a PTI away. I would rather give it to someone who is going to make the most out of that event, who's going to make memories at that event, not for just themselves, but for other people, and will really enjoy it. And this is the other thing as well. I remember my first World Championship 15 years ago like it was yesterday, right? I could replay that entire thing in my head. Every single card that I played, every game that I played, I remember everything that happened. It was a massive, I guess, foundational, it's a core memory for me, and it's a fundamental event that set in motion the rest of my life. And as far as I understand, this is the first time that you will
This is the first
ever compete in.
Yeah, like a professional, the only qualified events that I've been to that required a qualification are like Magic Nats, Flesh and Blood Nats, but this is the first like professional level TCG event I've ever been
The
to.
cash for top 64 is like proper cash.
Yeah,
1,500, I think it starts at.
putting I forget,
you know what I
about
mean?
the money. When
No,
I
no,
was
but I'm saying
playing-
like professional level, it's very,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 15 years ago when we were playing Worlds, first prize was 10 grand, right? Like it wasn't a
Different world.
Yeah. But the memories and the experience of going are worth more than that. And I think it's more valuable to me that I can share that experience with someone, because I remember how important my first World Championship was. It's a memory that I'll have for the rest of my life, than selling it to some fucking grinder who's like, let's be real. If you couldn't qualify on your own to get there, me selling it to you, you're there because you're trying to grind, basically. And if you're offering to buy a PTI off me, like you think that you can like spike everyone, you probably can't. If you can, congrats. But
No, but it's
It
not
do- it
that
doesn't
hard
view
to
it-
qualify, like in the grand scheme. There's plenty of ways to get there.
I view it as like the value of the memory is worth more to me and like helping someone out in that,
Then
in
whatever,
that respect.
1,000
and
US or
whatever.
whatever.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Now, what do I think about actually gifting PTIs? Well, I look at this there's two perspectives. I'm going to take a very lawyery approach to this, okay? If the law says something is legal, then I do it,
Yeah.
right? There are...
And if it says it's illegal, you do it without telling anyone.
Sure, yeah. there are like people complain about, oh, well, let's turn the podcast real political real quickly.
Sure.
So I don't know, tax breaks for the rich, for example, right? If you have access to that, even if you're not in that demographic, do it, because they're all doing it, right? If you don't know how to offset your earnings in some way, or you don't know what a Delaware C Corp is, go Google these things. Go do it, because everyone who's making $1 billion is doing it, and it's your own fault that you're not taking advantage of a system that exists. In Flesh and Blood, currently, you are allowed to gift PTIs. So I gift them. That's kind of the end of the line for me. Now, do I disagree with the concept of gifting PTIs? Absolutely. 100% I disagree with it. But it's currently something that you can do, therefore I do it. That's it.
Do you think it'll change?
No. I don't think it will. It's too... I think, okay, first of all, the availability of PTIs is... and the current way that the system works, like given the current system where certain people can very easily gain multiple PTIs, and there are not that many events that you can use them for, realistically, the only event that you have to use, well, actually, no, Worlds, you don't even have to use
some are
a
just
PTI.
qualifying for a specific event.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you do it whatever.
Like, how did I go to Pro Tour? As I won Pro Quests both times, right? How did I get to Nationals? As I won RTN both times. The only event that I haven't naturally qualified for is Worlds, because naturally qualifying for Worlds out of Australia is a fucking ordeal, right? So I had to use a PTI to get there. But realistically, the number of events that I have been part of where I could have or have gotten a PTI is quite a large amount. So it makes sense that I will have, as a player who is earning a lot of PTIs, I will also have one other events that allow me to get into these otherwise PTI necessary events, and I'm left with a surplus. What am I doing with these? I may as well filter them down to other people, right? That's the way I look at the current system. And it seems to me that given the way the current system is built and how you qualify it, that's almost a necessity in order for some people to be able to actually get there.
What you don't want is an event with 20 people in it, because...
And the reason I say it's a necessity, I saw you just frown, Paul. The reason I say it's a necessity is that if you're...
I didn't frown. I was like, oh, okay. That was like, say more. If you're the second or third best player or fourth best player, I think you still deserve to go to some of these major events. But because of the way the system is set up right now, it's very likely that you will never win one. And that's a shame. I think you should still have an opportunity to go. And those people who are coming first may, you test with them, you work with them, you go, okay, yeah, fine. This is my friend who helped me get to this position right now. I've already qualified. Here's the PTI. Come to Worlds with me. So, yeah. Look, will it change? They have to revamp the whole system if they want to get rid of the PTI gifting.
They could do something along the lines of put a limit on it. Like, for teams and friends, if you had a time limit of after winning the PTI, how long you have to gift it, it's got to be fresh, within a week, then it's only going to go to, it's less likely that... The weird thing for me is, it's weird that anyone would get upset that it got gifted. Gifting is that makes sense because it's like teammates and friends, or you can't go, so
it's selling, which is
selling.
Really
that's
weird.
Actually, because that's why I wouldn't touch it. Right, I was 1 win away, 1 win, and other 9 5s at Pro Tour got one. So I cashed, but I didn't get one. Fine, 1 win. Money's too easy.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it was too easy to, especially because I also got friends that were happy to help. Roy might have sold me one for cheap. Plenty of people would have sold me one for cheap. I have someone in New Zealand offer me one for free. I'm like, I don't want to appear to have paid to win.
Sure.
Or even paid to play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the other consideration that comes up is because prize splitting is allowed. Because you can transfer a PTI, and specifically you can functionally sell your PTI, there is now a fluid cash value on PTIs. And there's no market rate on what a PTI is. It's purely speculative. Oh, sure, I bought one for $300. Doesn't mean it's worth $300, right?
Someone sold theirs for 2,000. So, well, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Some are selling for 2,000, some are selling for 400.
Yeah. And that makes, because prize splitting is something that happens regularly in this game, I dislike this because now gets to the point where I don't want to have to sit down
And
across with
calculate.
someone. And some guys like, oh, this is I'll let you have the PTI if you. This is my split on that. Fuck you, man.
Yeah.
Right. Price split is 100-0 because I'm gonna win and you're gonna lose. That's how it works, right? Like, I already find price splits. I think they're done improperly. I mean, I actually have some very complex theories about how price splitting should be done based on your odds of winning. So I think 50-50 price splitting is for morons. But now that PTIs are no longer just like I've qualified for this event, it's got an actual value on it.
But not all PTIs, like not ProQuest PTIs.
No. I'm talking about PTIs, right? Not like I win a ProQuest.
Callings, Battle Hardens.
Calling Battle Hardens, yeah.
It's like when I went down to Taz to play ProQuests down there and I get into the finals, I have so much leverage over the person across the table from me. So I just be like, yeah, I'm already in. The PTI is worth so much to you, right? So I can turn around to them and say, cool, you can have the PTI. I take everything. Does that seem fair?
To me?
Yeah.
I don't negotiate. I just want to play the game.
I also don't negotiate.
Yeah,
I don't want to
play the game.
negotiate. But given the opportunity, given the availability of it, it puts... I think it...
Well, it'd be a lot
leads to
more
some-
valuable if it wasn't giftable. They had to take it or not take it.
Exactly, right? Like there's definitely it's a bit strange. I
think a way to fix that, I've said this a few times and I stand by it. It doesn't fix everything, but it fixes the whole ProQuest freaking shenanigans. If just like they had in Magic, if you qualify for a Pro Tour, if you earn a PTI in a ProQuest season, okay, you've won a ProQuest, you've earned a PTI, you've been handed one. That's it. You can no longer enter in any more ProQuests for that season.
Have a few weeks off.
Yeah.
You can't play.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, they need to do that. I don't know why they
agree.
haven't done that already.
Even in the smaller regions, like let me put it this way. It's anecdotal, but I think you guys have, especially you, would have noticed this, Phil. There are some regions where some of these events, the RTNs, the ProQuests, were like literally less than a dozen.
Oh my god!
No, but let me explain. So in that case, what's happening is
I'm the best player in Idaho.
Idaho again. So
It just has a funny name. It's like
that has the
That's
issue.
where the potatoes come from, right?
Kentucky.
The huge
They are
potatoes.
Irish. The issue with that is you get a bunch of friends, they all qualify.
Yep.
Then you face them at Pro Tour in a draft pod, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, how did you qualify? Because there was a lot of European players, love most of the European players. There was some that did not belong in that room that were qualified 100%, like miles away from qualifying. Like, having someone Arsenal to freaking defense reaction in an Icelander mirror, man. Like, no, like, there's no way you test a draft. There's no way you played an Icelander mirror before this moment because you know that card doesn't go in. That doesn't go in there. But then people reading cards during draft, like, can I read that? I'm like,
At a PT.
at a PT,
Yeah.
qualified.
Yeah.
But the other issue is what the Australian scene has. We have a lot of very good players, but we also have like an elite 4 or 5,
Sure.
elite level, world level, like Nick, Hayden, you, Roy, those 4. I'm not even, this is in Sydney, right? I'm not talking about Melbourne, which you probably have another half a dozen, and Brisbane has a few, like ACT has a couple. But I'm saying like just our ProQuest and RTNs, and Hayden to go win 3 of them, that's expected. He switched decks 3 times and won 3 of them. And funnily enough, he won with Prism, put his desk up, 10 people across the world won with the Prism list while he was on another list. Like, the guy's very good. But what's the point of one person winning 3 or 4? And then you have the issue of not enough Australian people qualify because it's not actually... There's also prize splitting happening where I'm not eligible. No one's conceding to me in round 3 to help me get to the top. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's that. I'm not saying Hayden did. I'm saying that's definitely something that happens in our
I
ProQuest.
hate that.
But they're smaller, right?
Yeah.
Well, you hated I've seen Fu concede to you at a RTN.
Yeah, that's because of the matchup, though.
No. But what I'm saying is like it still creates this issue of. Look, all I'm trying to say is who actually goes to the Pro Tour. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not trying to say anything else. Who actually goes to the Pro Tour? Yes, PTI, did they trickle in Season 1? I'm trying to remember for Jersey. I think they trickled down then and they stopped trickling down. or something
I can't
along
remember
those lines.
exactly how it was.
Either way, though, the last thing you want is someone winning all of them in a region, let's say. Like,
Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
in Sydney we had 3, and they were won by the one person.
Yeah.
What's worse is what if the top 8 were the same top 8 for all of them? What's the point?
You know what I think is even worse than that? Arguably, like looking back, what I did is arguably even worse because I traveled around and took other people's.
Like you said with your lawyer thing, if it's not
But if
illegal,
it's- yeah.
it's
Yeah, no,
okay.
But if you just couldn't play, you would have saved a couple of $1,000
Yeah.
in tickets and had some time off playing.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
tested or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not a negative. Like a lot of actually high-level players were complaining and have been complaining for a while. The events were too clumped up, too close together. There's no time between nationals.
Do you mean physically, as in the tables are too fucking
No,
small?
well,
'Cause
that
that's
too.
something that needs to be fixed as well.
Jesus, man. Our nationals.
Sorry, okay.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned before we started the podcast, I know that we're jumping here,
Go.
but about the location at Worlds and like what's actually
Oh,
happening there.
it's at a tent.
Yeah, can you guys run me
The
through this? Because
major
I have
issue-
no idea about what this is.
So you'll correct me. The rumor is Channel Fireball obviously have the contract to run
Yes.
it and have had it for a fucking long time.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they
yeah.
should have been prepared. It seems like they might have booked. So they booked a center. They go, this is the location in San Jose.
Okay.
LSS is like, bravo, great.
Yeah.
But they don't have the main hall. They have like a half tent, half building thing.
What do you mean a tent?
There's photos of it going around.
Okay.
Look
I'll
it
have to
up, though.
look it
You
up.
go
Yeah.
whatever the convention center's called. Now, I've heard 2 different stories. I can't get it straight.
Because
funnily
we're
enough,
outside, does that mean no masks?
Well, so
I just thought that. Does that mean no masks?
we're not
Because-
outside because we're in
We're in a tent.
a.
Well,
We're in America. Why
does
why
the
are there
tent-
masks in America?
But does the tent have a
zipper
like
on
a
it?
zipper on it? Like, is it enclosed? Like, if there's no,
It
no, I'm
is-
serious.
So
Like,
I've heard 2 rumors because even like I asked Newsom, like, buddy, do you even know? He's like, man, I don't even fucking know. It's not like his job, so he may not know
Okay.
exactly which hole we're in. But there's a rumor that maybe we're in more than one hole because it's a big event. So maybe there's like but it's not abnormal to have like section A and B.
Sure, yeah.
Especially if they go side events, vendors,
Yes,
this
that would be
section,
good, yeah,
registry.
yeah.
It's actually perfect because ideally, if you're in the main event, you don't have fucking plebs drafting screaming when they had a fabled, right? That's fine. Second,
oh, sorry, Mr. Elitist. I like having the plebs brushing
I
shoulders
reckon
with the
world's
elites.
top 8 would rather be in their own room.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Please.
Oh,
Second-
jeez. Don't you like
Second,
the filth
I'm
around your
pretty
filth?
sure we have to wear masks.
We do have to wear masks.
Look, Jersey, like
In the
amount
year of our
the
Lord,
amount of
2022.
the
in
amount
America,
the
of all
amount of
places.
times I got threatened. Oh man, Chris Sires had it rough because he was so recognizable with his leather fucking hat,
Oh, yeah,
walking
yeah.
around, and he never wore the mask. And the amount of times he got threatened to get kicked out of the building. Like, I hope it's not toxic like that, man. Those fucking yellow shirt judges who judge Fab running around telling me to wear a mask was like the most triggering thing. Like, by the way, I was happy to wear a mask, but I also bought enough drinks in my bag to never have to wear one. Like,
Yeah.
I was constantly, my bottle was open, I was drinking.
It's the tactic.
No, but people would stand there, watch you have a sip. The
And then,
minute your cap
yeah.
went on, sir, can you put your mask on or we'll have to escort you out the building? Like, really?
You know what, in again, like the legal mind kicks in, and I'm like, are you though?
No. So the last person I did ask, the last,
Show me the
Yeah.
paperwork.
I'm just
on the end of Sunday.
in America of
So-
all places,
By force?
you were going to physically escort me out of a tent. Don't get me wrong, all right? I'm not some like fucking anti-vax whatever, mate. I'm like I've collected
when
the
legally I have
infinity
to wear a
stones
mask. I wear a mask.
of
I've had 3
vaccinations.
jabs.
I've had
4.
four.
I've
actually.
had 4, baby.
I
fine.
had, mate, I had to fly because initially when I was going to go to America, because I was going to go to America for WPT, and at the time they didn't accept AstraZeneca. I had to fly out of the country to get Moderna, 2 shots. By the time I got back, finally they accepted AZ. I've had 5 shots, right? I'm literally just okay.
You're glowing.
Be careful.
What color are your shits? That's what I want to know.
But
They come out brand.
here's-
They
look,
got
black light,
AstraZeneca.
Look, I know like there's going to be plenty of people watching this and they have their reasons. So
We're not
But
that big. Say whatever you want.
Here's the issue that I have. That literally, like, within a stone's throw from the convention where we're having it in and out of a tent. Who knows? There's going to be I believe, an NHL game. Okay, a big fucking American Hockey League ice hockey game. Okay. Like, this thing's going to be packed. Mate, they're easily going to be 10 times, maybe 15x the amount of people watching that game. And from what my research, no masks. Like, you don't have to wear a mask. You can.
From my understanding,
You
is
can.
it's a CFB thing.
You can. So
And it might even be more related to the judging staff than CFB themselves.
So
that's what I don't understand. That a
There's
major
no legal
sporting
reason.
event that's inside.
So back to legal. There's no
well,
legal reason.
Okay, there's definitely no legal reason. The only thing that I can think of, this is some insider information about the insurance industry, is that most insurance policies nowadays and liability have an exclusion for communicable diseases, which only came in 2000.
So someone gets COVID and dies.
Yeah.
They're liable.
Well, the insurance company will not be held liable.
See, this is the problem with America. In Australia, no one can be sued like that.
Yes.
Do you see? Like, if you catch an airborne disease that, like, would, if you're
these
immunocompromised, you shouldn't have been there, kind of thing. In the US, it's probably you can sue the shit out.
Yeah, eggshell skull rule. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But is it, like, come on, man, wasn't TwitchCon just on? Actually, you know what? All the photos of TwitchCon, they were wearing masks, weren't they?
Yeah. I think
Fuck my life, man.
No, but
they should run. They should run Worlds in Australia. What's going on? TwitchCon. They were wearing masks. I just realized. Like, influencers and stuff, they were wearing masks. Taking them
that girl that broke her bat in the foam pit wasn't wearing a mask.
Dude, she broke her back a long time ago. She broke her back a long time ago, Paul. The minute I saw that headline, I'm like,
filthy.
Why is that news? Why is that news? Anyway, that was pretty shitty, though. Lenovo's going to lose some money over that.
I mean, look, if you're running a TCG event, to be fair, if I sit across from a greasy opponent, pre-COVID already,
you'll put a mask on.
Yeah, mate. There's a reason why I walk around in these events with a fucking.
So let's be
Yeah,
like,
you don't wear a mask. What is that? That's like, what do you call that? That's like a hanky, or what is that?
no.
A
No,
skivvy,
it's
a scarf. What is that?
It's like what cowboys wear, the dust thing.
So it is actually that one that I'm wearing is not like someone came up to me once and they were like, "You have to put a real mask on." That one that I'm wearing, that was made post-COVID. It's actually got 4 layers of lining inside it. It's medically graded. That's not like that's fucking expensive. That thing, I have to wash it like very, very in a particular way to not damage the lining and stuff like that. It is essentially a face mask, but it's one that you use. Originally, it's designed for actually hiking in deserts, so that's sweat wicking and things like that.
So you wear it over your neck, yeah? It sits around your neck.
Yeah, it sits around your neck, and it sits around your neck, goes up over your nose. You're supposed to
looks like a
ears.
scarf, or looks like a.
It's basically a headscarf, right? But they are actually like very, very, good and
the thing is,
recommended,
Paul, like
etc.
all of this.
Maybe I should get one of those.
They're much
No,
more
but they
breathable.
won't let you wear it. Like
That's the thing, because people don't understand.
Oh, so
Like,
you weren't
You'd
you
have
were
to
wearing
fucking
that
walk
at
around with
PT
paperwork.
Jersey? You were wearing that in Jersey? I
in
see.
Jersey, I was, yeah. In France, I was just like, whatever, man.
France was more lax.
Yeah,
And also, I think they said in France when we sit down, we could take them off or something silly
it
like
was
that.
interesting.
The thing is, like, none of this makes a lot of sense because if it's insurance, I think it's actually more reasonable to just have a head scanner at the front.
Temperature.
Yeah, like the thing you can even at the airports, like in Singapore.
If you're
I
feeling
think-
sick, you shouldn't be going to this
no,
event.
Well,
dude,
absolutely.
dude,
Like,
at
if
the-
you're sick or a temperature, do not come to this
but
event.
Paul, they had
at
them like
all.
at airports. They already have the body temperature scanners. Like I'm sure you can rent one for an event this big. It's way better experience than throwing. Imagine being outdoors and it's hot, and you have to wear a
You have to
mask.
wear a mask,
Like
yeah.
France was pretty terrible temperature in that building. Lucky
Yes.
they had the 3 coldest days when we were in France. Happened
Yeah.
to be the 3 days of the event. Lucky, like that was fortunate because the night before.
Yeah, it was pretty miserable.
I left early. It was so hot. Like sweat trickling down my back, man. Wearing a back. It was terrible. It was terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
Imagine that with 1,000.
Yeah, no, and
hefty
dude, you
people.
don't want that.
Ooh,
like you're
chunky
playing
boys.
cards. Like you don't want greasy
Marinating.
hands. You don't like. You just. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, like I said, I think people. Let's be honest, right? TCGs. Some people have reduced acuity to hygiene standards.
Filthy card players.
Yeah. Y'all are disgusting sometimes. But if you know yourself to be one of those people, then don't be appalled, I guess, if you sit down across from someone, they're repulsed from you. However, should this be...
Yeah, why would you be? Why would you be surprised?
Fuck me.
However, should this be a policy that's enforced by an event organizer when much larger, more substantial medical conferences don't have this level of
like, dude,
it's not fear-mongering,
and by the way,
it's just
I know
dumb.
this is like, maybe a lot of people won't agree, but this is not my stance on vaccinations, but I wouldn't care if they want proof of vaccination.
Of course not.
I wouldn't care if they wanted proof of a PCR test. I just want to enjoy the event.
Yeah.
I want to see people's faces. People are going to ask us for photos. People want to talk. Loud event. Even like judge calls and stuff. Trying to hear people through masks. The amount of people that just take the
I'd
mask
love
off.
to-
So the
yeah.
point of the mask. Like, this is no one's listening. Like, because no one's going to change their mind because I said it. But the point of the mask is to stop us exchanging germs.
Correct.
The minute you go judge and the judge comes over and they're leaning in, fuck the mask because they're within like 10 centimeters of your fucking face. The second they take it off to explain something because you said pardon me 3 times in a row because you can't fucking hear them because it's muffled, defeats the point of the mask. The minute you touch your mask, defeats the point of the mask.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, it's
a token
I'm not
gesture.
saying masks don't work. I'm saying how they work is not how we use them.
In the TCG space. Yeah, exactly.
In any space publicly is not
sure,
actually like medically enforced. Like, you're not watching me go to the, like, if you go to the toilet with the mask on, no point wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of reasons why. Also, in an event, like, how long are we there? Like 12 hours that day.
Yeah.
They should be giving me like 6 masks and
At least. Yeah.
like, you're supposed to go wash your hands before you put it on
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
never touch it again. And man, like,
I'd
mum was
much
doing
rather
the-
that
yeah.
vax-proof PCR test temperature check.
No,
I
but
think
Paul,
you're s- I think
honestly,
you're sweet.
these
I think
days,
you're sweet.
because legally you don't need any of that, really. All they would really need is the temperature check. Because anyone over, go get a rat test and come back, or
Yeah.
you're not allowed in. Do you know, like, that's how simple it should be. If you have a temperature, not allowed in. Look, I've got one friend at the moment that has COVID, but honestly, when you start thinking, like, there was a chunk of time where everyone was getting it, and now that's dwindled right down.
Significantly.
I don't think there's any new strain. I'm not following it, but I don't think there's any crazy new strain. So I don't and look.
We don't even have to wear them on the planes going over to America.
Oh, really?
Which is a much
No.
worse.
Oh, okay.
No,
Yeah.
no, Australian, no
We don't.
no masks at
And
airports
we don't even
anymore,
need a test coming
anything.
in because you're vaccinated
Yeah,
enough
there's-
now.
Do we need to get tests going out?
No,
No.
There's no
No,
tests
they've
I'm
going
gonna
out.
check, but
no,
I'm pretty
no,
sure.
no. I checked.
I will
checked
get
like
it
2
done
weeks
anyway
ago.
because I would like to, for my own
Yeah.
knowledge, I would like to get it done.
Mm.
But yeah, I wasn't for the Esther as well doesn't require you to do anything like that, right?
No,
Yeah.
Look, I'll double check myself.
Yeah,
By
I
the way, you
checked
should
2
always
weeks
check
ago.
for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, check.
yeah, no.
The last thing you want is you
tested.
you try and get on a plane. They go no.
This is not medical or financial advice.
But it is legal advice.
It just saves me because we had to rock up to the airport 4 hours before flying out to Jersey to get the same day PCR test because it had
Okay.
to be 24 hours before or whatever. So which means you had to be tested at the airport, which
Yep.
means you
Yeah,
had to
yeah.
get there 5
Yeah, yeah.
hours early to make sure you got
But
the
that's
result.
the thing; it's all gone. So I don't know. Look, I hope. By the way, we're assuming no one officially has said there'll be masks at the event, but I have heard there will be.
But we know that whole tent thing is confirmed.
But it may not be the main hall. But by the sounds of it, it is.
If it's a tent,
But
it
by
ain't
the
the
sounds
main
of it,
hall.
it is.
Yeah.
No. It's like a. How do you explain it? It's like a building with
pavilion,
a clear roof.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
It's like a
What,
building.
where they
like,
grow marijuana?
It does look like a greenhouse.
Yeah.
Legit.
It's
yeah.
California, so
Yeah. By the way, the lighting might be great, which can be an issue in events. Like the lighting will probably be great, but yeah, Jersey, same thing happened to me, man.
What's
very
this?
very last day on Sunday.
To me, the most
the
important
judge
thing.
came, sat next to me, 5 centimeters from my face, and goes, "Put your mask on, or I'm going to kick you out." And I was there with a couple of friends. Well, this is when I sat near the bathrooms on the end and went, "Anyone comes and plays me, I'll give him a history backpack."
yeah.
And I looked over, I'm like, "You're going to physically escort me out the building?" And all they could do is go, "If you don't, I'm going to escort you out the building." I go, "No, but like, are you going to touch me?" And he goes, "Please put your mask on." Or what? Sorry. I said I have no fucking idea because they're wearing a mask. But I was like, oh, dodged a bullet. Whew. I was terrified, you know. I really hope someone does try and physically escort me out of a building one day.
Fuck yeah. Well,
Have you ever been judo thrown onto concrete?
acoustics
God.
are my biggest thing.
Yes.
More so in events than lighting. In big events, acoustics. Like when there's like bad acoustics and you got so many voices and it's just like, it's just
Yeah. Singapore was good.
Singapore was
Terrible
Ooh.
tables.
Yeah, the tables.
venue look beautiful.
Beautiful.
Tables were trash, but yes.
The tables you couldn't fit
Way
two
too
playmats, so it would
narrow.
hang into your lap.
Yeah.
But other than that, we had plenty of space horizontally.
Yeah.
Lille was the opposite. Big tables, terrible acoustics.
Yeah.
The food was decent.
That was France. You kind of expect
Yeah,
it to be
no,
better, right?
Food. So what do you think about this? So punters,
Okay.
Timmys can attend, and they're not calling it a banquet anymore. You know,
No.
they've changed the wording on this.
What's it, a buffet?
No, God, no. They're calling it the player reception.
Nice.
There is no mention of food.
Okay.
But if you're a Timmy that has not qualified for Worlds, you can go if you buy the main Fabled entry package,
Oh, yeah.
which is 50 USD more expensive than the package down from that. Or you can just buy a one-off ticket to go to the player reception, $60. Now, holy shit, 60 USD? Mate, there better be a lot of reds from the Napa.
No, but
you know, I'm
you
telling
don't
you,
know
for
what's
$60
happening.
bucks,
So one thing that's happening
Few
then is the
PBRs.
Dynasty case is getting cracked that day.
well, whoop-de fucking do.
No, I'm saying like you're
For s-
paying for an event. Like that's what they're saying is if you want to
Okay.
attend,
Yeah, but
I would hope that there's food.
I'm sure there'll be something.
like for $60
How can
USD.
you- How can you have an event in America and not have food served?
Food's pretty cheap in America,
Yeah, exactly.
relatively.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for $60, what are the people getting? A Q&A and a box being cracked to watch? Like, I feel sorry for the Timmies out there. You're not even going to feed them, give them a couple of beers for $60?
I mean, if you're an unfed Timmy, you can come and find me and I'll give you a beer, I guess.
Well, that's what I told the
let-
team
let's
on my
put it out
channel.
there now.
I said, team, make sure you eat before you go to the player reception because we don't know if there's going to be food there.
You know what the best thing we can start doing, because we've sort of started, we've made a list for fun to guess. What we should do is try and find, if maybe your hotel more than mine, somewhere where we know, like in the evening we can go back, there's space for us for drinks and food.
Well, I was going to suggest the night before. When do you guys play in?
Tuesday.
Okay. I was going to suggest
Tuesday
on a
night.
Wednesday night that we could maybe book out a 40 packs at like, I don't know, what's the traditional American trattoria? Like Olive Garden or something, right?
I'd love to try Olive Garden. Yeah.
No, Cheesecake Factory.
Is there an Outback Steakhouse in San
Fuck no, enough of that. In Jersey.
Yeah, I'd like to try some like shitty American food. And
No, the Olive Garden would be great to try.
Yeah, like
I want
Olive Garden or
breadsticks.
like
I've heard of them.
Red Lobster or Cheesecake Factory. Actually, I went to my one of my girlfriends in America took me to a
IHOP.
we went to IHOP.
Denny's.
We didn't go to Denny's, but we went to Cheesecake Factory. The decor inside is like straight out of the 1960s. It looks like the Eye of Sauron is just staring. It's weird, right? I kind of love it. I also love
Well,
the
maybe
fact
if someone can recommend something, is that what we're saying? Yeah.
like a large venue where we could book out a 40 packs and like maybe
Dude, like an Olive
Otherwise,
Garden.
you know, there's a lot of good Mexican restaurants in San Jose because it is got, there's quite a Mexican population.
Yeah, I'm not that keen on Mexican. I mean, I'll go.
yeah.
Yeah. I eat Mexican downstairs. It
Oh,
can't
that's
be
true.
different, right?
Oh, well, shit. The Mexican you're going to get there is going to
kidding.
blow this crap
Guzman
out of the
and
water.
Gomez.
Oh, come on.
The original Guzzi.
Real Australian Mexican food.
Yeah, but something like that, and then we could.
The Americans gonna have no idea what we're talking about.
It's
like fast food.
it's like
Mexican,
Taco Bell,
but the Australian version.
yeah,
It's worse. It's worse, not better.
But yeah, maybe we could do that, and I don't know, your subscribers and things might want to
No. So that's what
Buy
would be
a
fun
ticket.
is if we,
to our dinner.
sure, but we can just do an open invite somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And then
And an Olive Garden, I think they like a bigger restaurant, right?
I have
Like
no
it's not
idea.
like a McDonald's.
Everything's bigger in
Can we
America.
book out of Macca's?
That'd be sick. Although American Macca's was actually disappointing.
Mate, why are the... All right, we always
is
end up...
fast food.
We're
Is
talking,
fast food
we're talking about Macca's, so we're at the end of the podcast, which is
Oh,
what
yeah.
happened last time.
Yeah.
Why isn't American McDonald's just so fucking thin. That was my problem with it. Also,
What do you
bacon.
mean thin? What thin?
Okay, the patties
Oh, the patties.
and the bread were the like water retention quality of that bread was too high. It got soggy too quick. I tried so
So it
much.
wasn't thick like what we saw in Jersey.
Yeah, exactly, mate. That's what you really want. That's that quality content. But the patties were just too thin as well. Oily, greasy. My biggest issue was with the breakfast, okay? Bacon and egg McMuffin is a classic countryside staple, right? Rustic in its charm. When I order a bacon and egg McMuffin, I expect my bacon and egg McMuffin to contain bacon, not a fucking ham disc.
Yeah.
Right? What is this? And
That's an Australian thing. I wouldn't expect that in America.
when you get a bacon and egg McMuffin here, it's got crispy bacon in it, right?
That's true, actually.
Yeah, that's what you need in it. It's not up for debate. It's not a cultural difference.
What I'm saying is, in Australia, a lot of times in cafes, if you order bacon, you get like ham.
Yeah.
You don't get anything crispy.
sometimes.
Let me give you the 101 on American fast food.
All right, go on.
Okay,
boss.
let me just fucking lay it down real quick. Okay, American fast food, the reason why it's trash, I've eaten it, it's fucking Burger King, Macca's, it literally stuff you wouldn't feed your dog. Now, Americans that have come to Australia, other parts of the world are similar. They have our Hungry Jack's, Burger King, KFC, Macca's. They can never get over the quality of it. It's because of the food laws. Okay,
yeah.
we actually like their food laws for like minimum standard of how much sawdust they can put in their fast food. It's like
I know what you
it's
mean,
way
yeah.
different. So they can actually legally serve up shit at these fast food stores and get away with it. Hence why the quality is so low. Dude, like Burger King in America, like you wouldn't feed it to your dog. The stuff I've had, like some of the breakfast shit, and it's just terrible.
Yeah, like here, it's like not the best, but it's like
Yeah, it's absolutely
it's
serviceable.
edible.
mate.
Yeah.
You can eat our fast food, no problem.
McGriddles are an absolute abomination,
what
right?
that is.
It's okay. What it is a even just saying it out loud. I had it because I had to have it because
Is that imitation pork?
No. The McGriddle is a breakfast option. It's I guess it's a little pancake, a griddle cake they call them over there, right?
A biscuit?
Yeah. Well, no, it's not a biscuit. It's it's the I don't know. Fucking flour disc, right? With a folded omelet, as they call it, inside, and then another flour disc on top. But they soak the little imitation pancake in syrup.
Ooh.
It's horrifying. What are you talking
No,
about?
I'm just like, ooh, yeah.
It's Lovecraftian horror on a fucking plate, mate. I would. It's just no, not for me.
These conversations make me hungry.
But also, I can't even get my real Macca's order over there
You're right.
because they didn't have a fucking chicken and cheese when I went.
Ugh.
How can you have a McDonald's and not have a? Come on, guys.
You know what's actually not too bad? I've only had it very late at night when
In-N-Out.
I've been very drunk. No, that's shit, actually.
Oh, that's controversial.
I do not. In-N-Out is crap. Dirt crap. I'll tell you what.
I'm
kicks its
standing up
ass.
for you guys.
I'll tell you what.
I'm standing up
kicks,
for
I'll
In-N-Out.
tell you what kicks In-N-Out, and this is a very hot take. Again, I've only had it very late at night or early hours of the morning where I've been completely off my face. Is White Castle. I tell you, their
Oh, yeah,
burgers,
actually,
their burgers,
White
even the
Castle.
chicken ones, the little chicken cheese ones. Woo,
Is
yeah.
it Five Guys that just dump the fries in the bag?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
mate.
What is
There's
that?
a little. I mean, to be fair,
No, they put a little cup in there
yeah.
and they go, whoosh.
I mean, my issue with we now have 2 Five Guys in Sydney. There's one in the city, right? That shit is so expensive, like unreasonably expensive.
Sydney's too expensive.
Why am I paying? But there are reasonable value
Sure.
options, right? I mean, we're in Parramatta right now. We're not far.
No, I'm saying for restaurants like that, they
Yeah.
can't, it's like they can charge whatever they want, but also they're probably going, this is twice the rent we pay in New York. That's why.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like it's not bad, but it's ridiculously
Even
expensive.
grilled, I like the quality.
I rate grilled so much higher than I rate
but it's
Five
like-
Guys.
But then you look at that's grilled is amazing, and
Yeah.
you don't feel that like greasy.
yes, yeah.
But it's so expensive.
Yeah,
like, it's
it
not
is.
even that I care about the money. It's like, dude, for this money, I could be having like steak and wine at a real
Yeah, yeah.
restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, why is this $80 for 2 people? We've got 2 burgers and 2 sides, and 2 drinks.
Just
Like,
go
how?
to Bankstown and get yourself a bun me, right? For
Yeah.
$5, top quality stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The person behind it's good because the person behind the counter
I'm ending
almost
the
refused to
podcast.
serve you.
I need to eat.
Okay. True. So do we.
So-
What are we getting for dinner? Harvey's?
No, I got plans.
Oh my god.
Nothing.
What are we getting for dinner, Timmy?
They're
ditching me.
No,
They're actually
I
ditching
won't
me right
I won't
here.
ditch you. I won't ditch
No,
you.
maybe
Don't worry
we'll
about
eat.
that.
I'll-
I won't ditch you.
I
I
just
won't.
need to.
I'm
We
never
appreciate
coming-
you, but
I'm
we appreciate
never
being
coming
here.
back on this podcast
I won't,
ever again.
Don't worry,
Good,
Phil.
you weren't invited back.
I'm a ride and die, Timmy. You better believe it.
Who the fuck
I'll
said
never
you're
read
invited,
poetry
man?
for you again.
That's a lie.
No, but
That's
thanks
that's
for
a
coming.
lie.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll see
Looking
you all
forward
at
to-
Worlds.
Yeah, we're gonna do.
So are we doing
Change your
next
seat. Have you changed your bloody seats?
week? No, I haven't.
Oh, come on, man. I don't want some random getting up to hang a piss every 5 seconds
Well, maybe-
when I've had 4 Valiums and I'm not moving. Not happening. Not happening.
If you've had 4 Valiums, why do you care?
No,
Let me see, mate.
exactly, because he's going to be trying to... Have you seen my legs are going to be up around my ears?
Why do, I don't want to
This
sit
man
next to him
on a
anymore.
plane. It's just a sedated savannah animal.
yeah.
You know what?
Sprawled out.
I'm gonna change my seat to business class.
No, because we're going on the same plane. We
We are.
can travel. We can Uber together. I can pick you up, bring you
No,
to
no,
my
for sure.
house,
Listen,
and we'll
it's-
Uber together.
As soon as we hang up this podcast, I'll call them.
Yeah.
Their call centers are usually, and if not tomorrow morning.
I'll have a car, so I don't know why you guys would Uber.
What, you gonna park
No,
at
to
the airport?
Oh, to the airport.
Yeah,
I
to
mean,
the-
no. I mean, once
No,
you
no,
guys
we're
are in-
flying together on the same plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, once you get to San Jose,
Oh, you got a
whatever.
car?
I'll be driving. Yeah.
Oh.
I thought about it. Now that I know you
Because
have,
I'm going to be there for 3 weeks.
yeah, it
right?
makes
So-
sense. You save a lot of money renting instead of.
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
give you a call, or we'll call you.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Oh, no, we have a
Arvo.
chauffeur now. That's
Tuesday Arvo.
What, can I get you a hat and a?
We're going
vest?
straight.
And a vest.
Tuesday, we'll go straight to the. I know a spot. I know.
So
I
if-
know a
if
little
you're listening
Mexican
to this-
saloon.
Well, I'm happy to do this way. If you're listening to this, like we're not going to maybe do an open invite. If you're listening to this, assume Wednesday night we're going to do something
do
fun in
something.
San Jose.
Yeah,
It's us
exactly.
3,
Plus
probably
whoever.
the Aussie guys.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, you're a Thunder fan, which means you'll probably want to talk to all 3 of us. Then we'll try and put something out on the Tuesday for what
Yeah.
we're doing on Wednesday.
Yeah. Sounds good.
You'll have more time to find something.
No, because I have to go stomp these kids in fucking Colorado
Yeah,
first.
so you'll have Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, so let everyone know where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Let everyone know.
So I'm actually going to Denver first to
Yes.
get some match practice in, and
You and Roy?
yeah, Roy and I both going because I figured like why not pay for my trip before it starts.
Yes.
So we're doing that, and
I couldn't have had appointments, but I was keen to go.
I heard Denver's awesome.
Is
place.
it?
Yeah, it's meant to be beautiful.
The only thing I know about Colorado is that they have parks, and also the boulder is there, that was in a song once. Was it Imagine?
very,
I don't
very
remember.
relaxed drug laws as well.
Okay. I'm sure you'll enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You just hallucinate and play fab and win.
Jeez.
Legally, Phil. Remember when you
Legally?
said when it's legal, you're up
Okay.
for it.
Yeah.
That's what the lawyer's mind was, right?
So I'll be in Denver from the 27th of October, and I'll be flying out of Los Angeles on the 23rd of November, I believe.
Good trip.
Spending some
Good
time
whack.
visiting the Napa Valley. My father's actually coming with me. He was there for the first time that I went to a World Championship, and he very likely.
Do we get to meet him?
Yeah, do I get to meet Mr. Mackay?
Yeah, of course you can.
Yes.
Yeah. And given that this is probably the last time I play in a World Championship, he'll be there for the last World Championship I'll ever play. So, yeah, it's nice. It's nice and bittersweet and sentimental. And I missed his birthday.
So you're
earlier
going to
this
win
year.
it?
Well, yeah, I kind of have to now.
Yeah, you have to now. After saying that.
Right, I'm definitely going to see you're going to be playing in the Worlds next year for sure.
Nah, probably not. But it's also my birthday while I'm over there.
Okay.
Oh, really?
When's your
Where-
birthday?
where? When's
12th of November.
12th. I'll try and
Day
remember
after Dynasty releases, I believe. So, yeah, we'll I'll have a little celebration. Go up to the Napa Valley, get absolutely talked up, boys. And
There
then,
we go. There we go.
Yeah, have
Taking
a good time.
your own VBs with that.
No, you just
He rocks up to the Napa Valley.
fill up that boot with Pinot, mate. That's a
I brought
shoey.
my own.
2008 Pinot. Just
Beautiful.
All right.
Free
Anything else from
ones,
you?
no,
Timmy?
I just can't wait to see everyone in San Jose. That's right. We're arriving Tuesday afternoon, departing the following Monday, and I hope to see you all there. It's going to be a good time.
It'll be
Trust me,
fantastic.
it's going to be great.
Oh, amazing.
Make
the
some
side
memories.
events list is up. Even
Oh,
I didn't
yeah,
realize,
that's
but
great, yeah.
Sam Yang and MJ are going to be there.
Yep. Yep. That got announced yesterday. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Yang.
Professor's going to be there.
Good crowd.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Told Timmy's going to be there.
And most importantly, all of you will be there.
Shut up, man. Who cares about the audience? All right, anyway. Sign off. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you very much for having me.
Cheers.